Ulonga tabati yada to ye ko madaifa. Ino to ye ko jeun. Ulon fi bipa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Shango Eshu, Ogun Oya Osun. Kini ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o. Ó jẹ́ lọ jára rẹ̀.
Alafia, peace and power, family. Welcome to another episode of the African Spiritual Experience. I am your host, Orisha Gbemi, and we are back, family, with another live stream on this good Friday night, man. We back for another Friday night live with the tribe, man. So with that, shout out to, before we get into it, the Patreon community, man. We had a dope week this week. I think we went like three times this week. Powerful, engagement and interactions and conversations and discussions, man. So shout out to the Patreon community, shout out to the YouTube family, the YouTube private community, shout out to the new subscribers, shout out to the entire Ashe Tribe Nation, man. Shout out to Wunam, Nikki Love, came through and burnt it down 2 nights back to back with us in the middle of the week. And we got some dope private calls coming up for next week. And we got some dope channel calls coming up too, man. Shout out to Brother Rod that was on the private call, man. The young king came through and made a huge impact. And shout out to you, brother, if you're watching. I definitely made that call last night, actually. And so we're going to put that play in motion, man. So we'll be bringing back some distinguished elders to the channel in the very near future as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, family, it's been a little minute, man. It's been a while since we did this. So I want to make sure I get back in here and get back in the booth and make it do what it do and be what it be in these Ashe streets. And so with that, shout out to the Wunam, Nikki Love, showing love from my part of the neck of the woods in the Florida area. Shout out to Moonstress and the entire tribe. But yeah, family, it's been a while, man. It's been a lot going on. And I just kind of want to jump right into it. So we had the Odu of the year, which was, I believe, Osai Meji, right? And that's the Odu for the mothers. So it's a lot of things that's going on with that. And I want to kind of share a little bit about just kind of like a sports center highlight of what that particular message, means, but because it means so much. But I just want to kind of share a little bit to go in depth with it and how it relates to what we have going on here right now in real time in the world. Excuse me. But with that being said, before I get into that, I saw a story today that I want to share because I feel like this particular story kind of paints the picture, paints the vibe, and it paints the scene to a lot of things that we're going to be getting into tonight in regards to the divine feminine, the power of the mother. We're talking about the power of the mother cosmically, universally, and, on the planet, humanly. So I want to share a report that I saw. I just saw this today, as a matter of fact. So I'm not sure exactly when it took place, but I want to share this report with y'all before I get into the presentation because I feel like I said it's relevant into like what's happening right now on the planet. So let me pull this into the screen. So this happened today. I'm gonna have to say condolences because I don't wish death upon nobody, but Florida man fatally shot after arguing with a woman in a Walmart parking lot over a parking spot. So what it appears to be, I guess this gentleman, had some issues with where the sister was parked at. And so, the Queen Mother was like, I'm not sure what she said, but I do know she wasn't really taking none of that off of the dude. So I guess he, 62-year-old U.S. vet was fatally shot after a dispute over a parking spot outside of Walmart in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And the victim was shot during the argument when the woman in the parking lot. Authorities said the woman remained on the scene, cooperated with investigators, claimed that she acted in self-defense. No charges have been filed by Broward State Attorney's Office are right now reviewing this case. I say all that to say, family, there was a show that I did back in February. I want to say like the end of mid to late February. And I remember it was when I started really paying attention to what was going on with the weather, because I know that the weather, it definitely paints a very powerful, very bold picture as to what's happening, in the planet, but also what's happening cosmically, because, we got the solar flares, we got the Schumann resonance, we have the neutrinos. There's just so many aspects that's going on right now when you talk about the nature, the aspects of nature. So, when it comes to the mothers, like I said, we taught it. We started out the year, the Orisha calendar in the Ifa year this year with the Odu of Osai Meji. So that's a very powerful Odu. So I want to share a little bit about that Odu. Like I said, a highlight or a summary real quick before I bring into the presentation, because I feel like all of it's very relevant in regards to what we're seeing right now, you know, in terms of the things that are taking place on the planet. So Osai Meji, you know, it normally manifests in the world with the energy of sudden change, unexpected events, swift movements, potential instability, much like a wind, you know, the power of a storm. And I'm not sure if you've seen this, tribe, but there's been hundreds of typhoons, hundreds in the Americas. There's been hundreds of them, you know, in, I want to say, other countries as well. You know, typhoons, tornadoes, you know, earthquakes, tsunamis. It's crazy out there right now. So all that is tying into what we're seeing right now with this energy of Osai Meji, Yansa, Oya, you know what I mean, coming through, doing what she do. So when we talk about instability, we talk about, you know, the power of the storm. You think about X-Men, the character of, you know, who I would feel like is metaphorically, or who is related to Oya, you know what I'm saying, that character of Storm. So when we talk about, you know, Osai Meji, we also have the presence of unseen news or abrupt shifts or circumstances that disrupt plans or rapid transformations, evoking of anxiety, fear. There's so many different things. It's things that we have to do. We have to learn how to adaptability, you know, thinking quickly, thinking like, you know, improv, like thinking, you know, being able to improvise with the situation and circumstances at hand. You got to kind of develop whether you're going to fight or you're going to flight, you know, which way you're going to go, because when you're in the storm, you know, things can get knocked over real quick. Real quick. So, you know, within this particular message, we know it gives a lot of warnings. You know, it gives a lot of warnings about things, you know, times of turmoil, times of critical, you know, alertness, times of, you know, just really, really being on your P's and Q's in regards to what's happening in nature. So with that, you know, we have to know how to respond when these things happen, because it's going to be a lot of destruction. So it's going to be a lot of change, a lot of chaos, a lot of endings to the out with the old and birth and in with the new. So Yansa is, you know, the deity of transformation. She's also the guardian of the cemetery. She's the one who guides us from when we transition out of this life into, you know, the ancestral realm, and then, you know, back when we come back again. But I say all that to say, we've seen a lot of Osai Meji energy, and I feel like, unfortunately for that dude who, you know, ran up on the sister at Walmart, that wasn't the right sister to run up on, and it definitely wasn't the right time to run up on her. You know, and condolences again to him. You know, we don't wish death upon nobody, but just like the energy of the mothers, like, they're not having it. And so, you know, the planet ain't having it either. So with that, I found this in February, like I said, I think 15th. This was a volcano at the time. This was the 42nd time that this volcano erupted, family. If I'm not mistaken, it's over 50 right now. So I'm going to share this real quick, because this right here, I feel like correlates and translates precisely from what we're seeing with the report in that Walmart parking lot to what we're seeing with the report that's happening right now, you know, in the world. So with that, I'm going to share this with y'all, family. Okay, so I want to pause it right there, because I want y'all to see. I remember the first time when I shared this, the very first time, I didn't realize like the significance in the numbers of what was shown. Hopefully my screen like is blocked a little bit. Hopefully y'all can see the full screen. But at the bottom of the screen, it says that this was the 42nd time that this particular volcano erupted, and then also that the lava spewed up a full 1,300 square feet. So when we talk about numerology, right, we all know that 42, you know, goes back to Kemet. 42 is going back to the powerful, you know, laws of Maat. You know what I mean? We're talking about the 42 laws of Maat. We're talking about the divine feminine. You know what I mean? The goddess of Maat. So then when we talk about the number 13, that's also another number for the mothers. So it's like, that's a very powerful statement that was made back in February. That was like, what, 4 or 5 months ago, I believe. So now we fast forward to where we're at right now in July, right? So June was one of the most historic months in human history in regards to like catastrophe, when we talk about weather. And it reminded me of the movie, I think 2012, where there was so many different things going on like that in the world, in regards to like disaster and all types of other things that was going on, the chaos, there's a lot of stuff going on. So here we are right here before the 4th of July in 2026. What was that, 14 years later, after that 2012 movie? And then we see, we see what's taking place in the world in real time. So yeah, it's a lot popping, family. Maximum Risings, peace and power to you. Yes, get in that Patreon for sure. I'm gonna share the link to it. I'll put the link in the comments and in the channel description. Yeah, because I'll be posting. I wanted to post the guide that I'm gonna be sharing tonight, but it'll still be in there. I'll get in there, if not tonight, tomorrow for sure. Maximum Risings. So yeah, but with that, family, I want to bring up this presentation that I put together. This is the one I was supposed to do, I think, last Saturday, I believe it was, or last Friday. But the technology was technology, and I couldn't get that thing to come up properly. So I wanted to run it back and make sure that I share this with y'all. So let me get this pulled up, right? So yeah, when disaster strikes, right? Decoding nature through wisdom, Ifa, Orisha, and the Orisha Aganju. Some people say Aganju, some people say Aganju. Before I get into that presentation, though, let me start with Aganju. So I'm not sure how many people tribe that's familiar with the Orisha Aganju, because we spoke about him this week on the first Patreon call. We actually got into chopping it up about this powerful Orisha, very, very powerful Orisha. So I'm not sure how many people are familiar with him, but if you are, drop it in the tribe. Drop it in the comment for me, please. Tribe, because this is really, we're going to talk about him in regards to, he is the Orisha who is connected to the earth, connected to the volcanoes, connected to the mountains, connected to the hot lava, that brews on the inside of the inner earth. So when we talk about all these different things that are taking place, we see all these different volcanoes erupting, we see all these earthquakes, like all these things are all tied in together as to what's happening right now as Mother Earth starts her cleanse. Well, she already started, but is in the process of her cleanse and purging, the parasites, the demons, the demonic forces, the deletes, all those raggedy rat bastards that's been running them up, tearing up the planet. She's purging them up out of here, and we can see it on all levels. So with that, I'm going to go back to the presentation about when disaster strikes and just kind of get into how, significant the weather is. So right now we're seeing floods, we're seeing landslides, it's floods in Northeast India, Pakistan getting monsoons. We're seeing all over the place. We're seeing Europe having a heat wave that's, I think, unseen, never heard of. California is getting faults underneath, like underneath the ground. I think like the most stressed the faults have been in California in like the last 1,000 years. So we're seeing some real, crazy things happening right now. Venezuela got hit with those twin earthquakes, and then it was like 5 or 6 earthquakes, I think, that happened all in the ring of fire, all simultaneously. So all these things are all happening all at the same time on the planet Earth. So I know a lot of y'all probably heard about that El Nino thing that was going down too, the super El Nino. So now we seeing in real time, what's popping. And then shout out again to Nikki Love, because she spoke about several of these things on a few of our calls, actually. Several of them. She spoke about the floods, I want to say the earthquakes, and several other occurrences that are taking place right now, was predicted right here, right here in these Ashe streets. But when we look at this, family, we can see like the power of the Orisha, right? When we talk about like with the earthquakes and earth shaking and all that's going on right now with that, that is, Aganju. But then now we got to also look at the floods. We look at the waters. We got to look at, Imoja. We got to look at the power and the significance of Olokun. You know what I mean? And then what are we learning from this? Like, what can we take away from this moment in time when we're dealing with seeing, the planet go through all these transformations as it's doing simultaneously for multiple different, dimensions of the world, whether it's in the air, whether it's in the sky, whether it's through, the water, whether it's through the inner earth, whether it's through the volcanoes, through the mountains, etc. It's all going down simultaneously at the same time. And every single one of these aspects of nature is then tied back to one of the deities who are aspects and forces of nature, which are the Orisha. So with the floods in the water, we see that with Imoja and Oshun. So what is it teaching us? You know what I mean? Is it teaching us like the boundaries in life? Is it teaching us about how, to stay in alignment and to stay, in Iwakwele, or in balance and good character, or to operate out of the essence of the laws of Maat? Like what exactly are we seeing here, that's going down? Then we talk about these wildfires. You know, we got all these wildfires. They're talking about the heat dome. I think for those out there in Utah, I think I want to say like 93,000 square feet, I think, of the fire that's been burnt down so far. Temperatures are going crazy. Got temperatures in the hundreds, and I think almost all the way across the United States, if I'm not mistaken. And then you got a couple of states that are actually going through like snowstorms in July. Make that make sense. It reminded me of that song by Fabulous, Cold Summer, because it's definitely it's a hot summer, but in some places it's a cold summer too. And shout out to Maximum Rising, said it was 110 in Virginia today. That's crazy. $110 in Virginia. When's the last time I haven't heard that high of a temperature nowhere? And I can't think of how long. So $110 in Virginia, man. Make sure y'all stay hydrated. Make sure y'all keep yourself in cool temperatures, man. Stay in that AC, stay in that dew, you know, because it's definitely temperatures that can cause. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, before I came on the show, or before we did the private call, I did like one more scan on the internet to see what was going on. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's about 12 to 1,300 people in Europe have passed away and died from like heat-related deaths, whether it's heat strokes. I don't know if they got burnt to death. I'm not sure, but I do know, the planet ain't playing, man. It's not playing. So I think it's like 1,300 over there in Europe just from the heat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. And I don't believe they used to getting heat over there like that. Not like that. So it's something to think about, family. It definitely is. And so when we look at all these fires, right now, we got to think about Aganju again, and then we also got to think about Shango, because the fire, of light, what I mean, striking, and then also Ogun. Ogun is definitely another nature deity. He's out there in the forest, in the woods. He's definitely one of the ones who's clearing the way, clearing the path. So it's like all these things are a direct divine reflection to me of transformation as well as elevation. In addition to the purge and the ending of the old and birth to the new, the birth and the creation of a new life, a new world, a new planet, and new dimensions. So it's definitely a purge going on, on the planet. And then we look at all these different so-called deletes that are making these bunkers and doing all these different things, I think, to try to avoid it's not funny, but it is funny. I think they tried to make all that to avoid this right here was happening, but at the end of the day, you can't get rid of nature. Like, you can't beat or defeat nature. You can't hide from it. You can't run from it. You can't bury yourself into a bunker from it, because we see these volcanoes erupting on the surface. Trust and believe they can erupt under the surface, and them quakes can break or shake anything. So I remember talking about that on multiple calls about how, it's funny to me that they think that they could create these little bunkers or whatever it's going to help. But nah, when it's your time, it's your time. And Mother Earth going to see to it that everybody going to answer that call. Every single person, being, whatever you want to call these things that are doing what they're doing, these parasites and deletes, they got to answer that call too. So whether they're answering it from the planet herself or they're answering it from the creator, but either way it goes, the call going to be answered, and the call's being sent right now. And shit. So it's like, you're going to answer that call whether you want to. Wait, you going to make it do what it do, babe. You're going to make it do what it do. You're going to answer that call. Shout out to Mama Teresa. What's good with you, Mama Teresa? But yeah, family, it's going down, man. It's definitely going down right now. It's a real interesting time, to be alive, to be on the planet. It definitely is. So, there's a whole lot more, that's going on. So then we got to look at all these different storms that's coming. There's got that storm, what is it, Bobby, Henry, storms in Guam. Like I said, the typhoons, the tornadoes, like it's going crazy right now. And there's a lot more coming, so that goes back to, again, we look at it from the Orisha lens. We talk about the Oya, we talk about Emoja, when we talk about these waters. All that then, family, goes right back to Osai Meji. It's an Odu that's dominated by the divine feminine principles, by the divine mothers, by Ye Oya, by Ye Emoja, by Ye Oshun, like all the mothers, Ajay, like Olokun, like they're all in that Odu heavily, and then Shango is too. So we're seeing a lot of powerful development through the lens of nature, family, like very powerful. So it's like, what we're gonna do with this. I'm gonna pause with the presentation for a minute just because I want to chop it up with y'all and see what y'all think about it. So what do y'all think about what we're seeing right now in nature, family? And forgive me for I'm probably like 15 minutes behind on the comments, so I'm gonna try to catch up real quick with y'all and see where we at. But yeah, when it comes to, oh wow, so it done almost doubled from what I saw. Damn, that's crazy. And I just When are we going? We're gonna call 6 o'clock. Wow. So let me see. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. What was that comment? I just saw. Okay, here we go. Shout out to Maximum Horizon. So she said it done went up to 2,000 people that passed away in Europe. That's crazy because I'm talking about like literally probably looked at a report around 5. I don't know, probably a little bit before 5. I've been on calls since like 5, but I know so probably about 3 or 4 I looked at a report, and I want to say it was like 1,300, and that was at like 3-4 p.m. Eastern. So now we're looking at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, and it done rose to 2,000. So yeah, man, mama ain't playing. She ain't playing. And then even going back to the significance of them numbers, man, like for real, like that 1,300 feet, of the lava spewing on the 42nd time that volcano erupted. That's not a coincidence. Just the fact that even Spirit led me to do the research on those earthquakes and on what was happening in nature, to me, I don't feel like that's a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Like, I didn't even know where it came from. Like, for me to do that type of research, which is a little different from what I normally do in regards to the show. But I had, I could not listen to whatever was urging me to, do that research. But I'm glad that I did, because now we got receipts, timestamps to see how, we've been tracking this thing, how it's already developing in a whole nother warp speed. So, man, it's crazy out here in these Osai streets, family. So what do y'all think about that, family? Y'all prepared? Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready to ride this ride out here, tribe? What y'all think, man? Because it's definitely getting quite interesting, to say the least. Definitely getting quite interesting. And then on top of that, yeah, I was mesmerized. You beat me to the punch. It's so funny. I was just about to get to that. But on top of that, they did shut down the CERN machine. They think they set CERN down, I want to say the 29th. They shut down the CERN machine. And we all know what that's about. It's all about them trying, I guess, recalibrate it, or trying to maybe give it a software update, or do whatever they can, I guess, to heighten it or strengthen it, to make it more of a CERN machine that it already is. But I ain't really concerned with that, because at the end of the day, we see what the planet's doing. You know what I'm saying? We see what's happening in real time, and so it's like, you can't stop. You can't stop nature. You can't. It's just not possible. Like, we're on this planet. The planet is a living, breathing, entity herself. And so if we're vibrating in alignment with that energy and frequency, we good. And if we're not, we're gone. It's just that simple. Like, for real, for real. We've been talking about it on this channel at least for the last 2 years, 2.5 years since we've been doing it. We've been talking about, the transformation. We've been talking about the elevation. We've been talking about, the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension. We've been talking about going from the Piscean age to the age of Aquarius. We've been talking about all this stuff for like the last 2.5 years, about how, it's all unfolding, but it's unfolding right before our very eyes in real time. And, it's powerful. It's a wonderful time to be alive, I can tell you that. But, to quote Professor Kaba, he's like, we're going to get to the promised land. That's the good part. The bad part is some of us ain't going to make it. So it's like, where are we at now in regards to our Ori? Where are we at now in regards to, our Ashe? Where are we at now in regards to how, we're dealing with ourselves, but how we're dealing with other people too? How we're dealing with the planet? How we're dealing with, all aspects of life? Because right now it's almost like the halls of Amenti. For those who are into the Kemetic space, into the Kemetic spiritual system and sciences, the hall of Amenti is the hall of, when you go into pretty much almost like Judgment Day, where the heart and the feather gets weighed. Which way is the scale going to tip? Depending on the life that we lived, and that's what we're seeing right now. We're literally in the halls of Amenti for the planet Earth. Real talk. And it's happening right now in real time. And we're seeing it, like I said, all the way across the globe. Nobody's going to be, unscathed, unfortunately, because, like I said, Mother Earth, she doing what she do. She doing what she do. You said it'll never be turned back on. Hold on 1 second. Y'all bear with me with these comments too, try. I know I'm behind, but I'm trying to catch up, and I'm seeing some good ones in here, so I'm gonna bring them to the floor and keep them coming too, because I'm gonna chop it up with y'all. I'm gonna double dutch in and out with y'all, and then go back into the presentation so I can get to it, because at least I was able to get it in here this time. So that's a good thing, and I'm looking to do another one tomorrow too, I think, because there's some other stuff that I know I've been saying I want to get out here to the tribe and get a chance to get to yet. So Maximum Rising said, I was just studying that. I had no idea until today. Which one was it, Maximum Rising? This was what I wanted to share. Since CERN has been off, Mother is free. What we are seeing is just the beginning. We have maybe a year or 2 years, and that's facts. That's big facts, actually. I'm glad that you said that, because that kind of brings me back to what I was saying about tomorrow. I know I've been talking about doing like some shows about like extraterrestrials and like real disclosure, because we're not seeing no real disclosure from what they're putting out. So I'm gonna definitely do my little due diligence and put together a nice little presentation for the tribe tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a very, very appropriate day to have that type of call, that type of energy put out into the universe. So yeah, I look forward to doing that one with y'all too, family, for sure. Because there's a lot going on. Like I said, we see all this stuff that they're dropping with these so-called release files and these so-called disclosure files and all that, but that's all child's play. Like, for real, that's like preschool compared to what's really popping, what's really going on. And when you really have real information, or like real footage or real data, is like it gets banned, it gets shadow banned, it gets suppressed, it gets, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really want that out there, but they'll let the fluff and the bullshit go out there, but they don't want the real stuff out there. So it's like, if you're gonna play with it, why not play all the way? You know what I mean? Because I'm still waiting to see Val Thor. Where's Val at? Yeah, I ain't put him out there in them files. We know he lived in the White House for some time now. Yeah, you know, the Venusian who came from Venus, with him and his crew, I want to say they're about 3-4 deep. Why y'all ain't put him out there? Because, you know, he's a real extraterrestrial who really was working in the White House, living in there, you know. So I'm interested to see why he hasn't come out yet. Why we ain't seen nothing on Valiant Thor. But we're going to talk about Valiant Thor. Don't worry about that. Shout out to brother Roderick Williams. He said, I see your tribe in Bradenton right now. Feeling good. Yeah. Them solar flares ain't playing. They not playing, bro. And them storms. If you that close to where I'm at, I'm pretty sure you've been feeling them storms too, brother Roderick, because them storms ain't been playing. Like, they never do play, but they've been extra strong. Like, the thunder been shaking like buildings, like not just windows. It's been shaking buildings. And I think it was Wunan now saying that when we see or hear like thunder or like major disruption, you know, in the sky and you know, up in the heavens, like a lot of times it'd be actual wars, like actual battles going on in real time. And I feel like that's true, because I got some footage. I've been studying and researching this stuff for a long time now. And I'm trying to think, but I know I got footage from way back in like 08, almost 20 years, from like 08 to 09 to like 2014, 2015, of some prolific lightning storms. I'm talking about crazy lightning storms. And now in hindsight, I look back, I feel like some of them was probably crashed too, because a lot of times when you see that lightning striking like that and you see the clouds go into certain distinct formations, those are cloaks, you know, and a lot of these crafts, if not all of these crafts, the real ones, or hell, probably even the ones that they reverse engineer too. But when we see certain clouds and certain different formations, and then we see like different types of weather anomalies that are taking place around these clouds, a lot of times you can bet that's probably a craft. And what they're doing, they're just cloaking themselves in order to keep, you know, whoever they don't want to see them you know, moving about in real time. But yeah, that's a real thing. And I definitely I got some footage for that too that I'm looking forward to sharing with y'all too, family. So I definitely look forward to doing that extraterrestrial call. It'll never be turned back on. They won't say so. Yeah, I believe that, because I mean, to keep it a buck, and I'll probably start the show with this tomorrow, but to keep it a buck, they're talking about they turned it off until 2030. 2030, that's it. Like that'll be the end of what we know it will be in 2030. And that's facts. Like, straight up, no chaser. So it's like, yeah, I got to agree with you on that one too, Maximum Horizon, because yeah, 2030 is a wrap. So and honestly, I feel like what they're probably doing, they're probably just telling us that they're cutting it off, whatever, but they're probably just rebooting it or recalibrating it to use it now, to try to ratchet shit up as much as they can between now and 2030, because I just don't see why they would bring that information forward to let the, you know what I'm saying, the masses know. And a lot of this stuff be psyops, you know what I'm saying? They do that to see how we're going to react, to how we're going to respond, kind of like what they did with that one that took place in 2020, where they was testing to see, you know, what they could do, what people would go for, what people wouldn't, who would bite the bait, who wouldn't, you know, who would take the fake medicine and who wouldn't, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, It's a real thing. Oh, okay, I got you. I see you. Peace and power, FRB Supreme, Mag Star, Soul Council. I like that. That's dope. Yes, sir. I like that. Soul Council. I might have to borrow that one from your family. Soul Council. I like that. Oh, okay. Halls of Amenti. Yeah. The Halls of Amenti, man, powerful. And all this is tied together, family. That's another thing. When it comes to the cultures, when it comes to whether you're talking about Ifa, Orisha, Sheshe, you're talking about Kemet, or you're talking about Benin, when you talk about, you can talk about Haiti, wherever you want to go. Hell, you could talk about here, with our Gullah Geechee families, and what I'm saying, with the hoodoo voodoo, like all of it's tied together. Everything is tied together. It's just a matter of what particular demographic spot or location that we were in or on the planet, where we'll call it a different name. Like, it's just that simple, because the same deities are interchangeable. The same energies are, are interchangeable as well. And it's just like where we were from or what part of the world we were in is what we will call them. You know what I mean? So that's literally what it is. But saying the book of coming forth by day. Yeah, that's a powerful piece of work too. And it's funny because I was on the Kybalion last week, the 7 Hermetic Principles, the 3 Initiates, and it talks about the Hermetic Principles. The Kybalion was another powerful book. I was on that last week too, before we brought Professor Kaba in. So yeah, it's definitely a lot going down. Peace and power, Khadijah. Thanks for bringing us to our awareness. It helps us prepare for. Yeah, it does. It does, because it's all in the mind, like, for real. And it goes back to what we were talking about in the private community with the Ori. Like, we have the power and the ability to create our reality and our experience based upon how we process it in the mind. And that's why, especially right now, it's a very significant time for us to be focusing on that mind's eye and really, really mastering and controlling the mind's eye. Like, every single one of us has the capabilities, has the genetic, I would say the genetic makeup to be able to be, the one to transform or morph into the one. Like, all of us have the ability to be the one as Neo. You know what I mean? Every single one of us has that ability. So it's about you really believing in the fact that you are the one. Because who's gonna stop you from being the one? Who's gonna stop you? I'm curious. Because as far as I know, the only person that can stop you for real is you. Now, you can give your power or your ashe away to somebody else, but can't nobody take it from you. So as long as you have that mindset to know that I'm the one, ain't nobody gonna stop me from being the one, then that's what it is, because the universe is gonna mold to your will, because you're speaking with that Ofo Ashe, you're speaking the truth to power, you're speaking the vibrational frequency out into the universe. So now you have no choice but to return back what you're putting out. And it works both ways. Just like, we were talking about that earlier too, the laws of polarity. You can't have one without the other. Where there's light, there's dark. Where there's cold, there's hot. Where there's fast, there's slow. Where there's east, there's west. Where there's north, there's south. Like, where there's in, there's out. Whichever way you want to look at it, it's the laws of polarity. That's the beautiful thing about this thing we call creation, when we're talking about the creator. So with that being said, being that we are children of the universal prime creator, that means we have the ability and the genetic DNA makeup to be co-creators. You know what I mean? So now's the time to create the reality that, you want to see, the reality that you want to experience, because nobody can stop that but us. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Let me see these comments. Yeah, it is that Oya energy. Yeah, I'm gonna go back into the presentation too on that note. Raz term 777. Yeah, Oya and El Nino. Yeah, that's facts. Don Birdkeeper. That's fact. And them two powerful. Yeah. Whew, that's two powerful, very powerful systems. Let's just call it that. I'm gonna say systems, because that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing some powerful systems at play. As above, so below, as within, so without. Shout out to Jay McDonald, Sacktown family in the building. What's good with you, family? The West Coast family out there. I don't know if you was affected by that, Jay, but hopefully not. But I heard y'all have some tremors or some type of activity going on over there by the fault lines over there in Cali, man. Something like the most activity in the last 1,000 years or something like that. Let me know if you felt or had any effects or any of that, where you at in your part of Cali and California. Yay. But yeah, family, I'm gonna get back into this presentation real quick so I can wrap it up, so I can chop it up with y'all again before we get up out of here. But yeah, back to the earthquakes. Tonga had one at 5.7. Afghanistan had one at 5.5. And both of them, it says that, there was reduced, to surface damage, but also, seismically, they remain, moderate, but the ground is still active and it looks still. And this is where it comes back to Aganju, because Aganju, like I said, he is the deity of the inner earth, the inner cores of the earth, of the mountains, of the volcanoes. Like very, very, very powerful deity, family, very powerful. And so when we think about that, right, we got to think about what we're talking about with the Odu of destruction in order to make way for construction. So now when we talk about that construction part, we got to go back into thinking about Obatala, because he is the creator and the molder of all, of all heads, of all Oris, of all humanity, you know what I mean? So it's like when we get to the point where, Operation Extinction Level Event is upon us, or I should say when disaster strikes, is upon us, when we see through all this destruction and all that, then we're going to see, the ability for construction. And, shout out to my pops, because he was down here for Father's Day, and he was just talking about like the storms that we be having here in Florida. It was like, you know what? Every time I see that y'all have a bad storm, it seems like it don't really take y'all no time, to rebuild and to bounce back. And I'm like, I feel like it's the experience. Unfortunately, it's an experience that we ain't happy about having, but at the same time, because we've had the experience, because we've been through it so many times, we do have the ability to rebuild. You know what I'm saying? We do have the ability to rebuild, reform, and reconstruct, the destruction that, that we lived through. So it's like, that's the power in resiliency. You know what I mean? That's the power in like not quitting, not folding, not letting, the facts of life or the current environment or the current experience that we're dealing with, have control or influence over us. And I feel like us, especially primarily melanated people, especially in this part of the globe, we're used to adversity. You know what I'm saying? We used to, fighting from unfair, vantage point. We used to fighting an unfair battle. We used to fighting in, games and fights and wars and arenas where the playing field was never level. It was never even. Like we've always had to come from a deficit over the last about 5 to 6, 700 years in regards to us as a people culturally. You know what I mean? But now we seeing with this current establishment, they are buckling, the society or culture as a whole in this thing that we call the U.S. corporation. So it's like now the field is getting leveled, and you have other people from different demographics and different cultural upbringings and systems who are feeling that same, pain and feeling that same kind of like tension or disparity. You know what I mean? And so now it's like I don't know how many of people that came up, in the entitled or in the privileged way or manner, how they're going to deal with living through life with these types of times that we're all living in, because nobody's nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. Right now, we are literally seeing the 42 laws of Maat manifest in real time all across the globe, and like it's happening fast. So, with that being said, family, what foundation do y'all feel like needs to be rebuilt? Amongst humanity, like what foundation needs to be structured or be strengthened? You know what I mean? In regards to where we're at right now, because Mother Earth never forgets. You know what I mean? And like I said, the laws of Maat is bringing forth the time now to bring the balance, the reciprocity for all the things that's taken place, over the last several thousand years, but definitely the last 600 years or more. But when we talk about the volcanoes, back to Aganju and that ring of fire, we're seeing multiple volcanoes all erupting all at the same time, like literally simultaneously. And so we're seeing, the fallout of that from the ashes, the lava, messing with flight patterns, with the aviation, with the planes. So yeah, it's definitely going down. And then, so we look at the Orisha lands, right? We're looking at Aganju again. We're looking at Shango again. We're looking at Ogun again. Very powerful deities, man, like very powerful. So then we think about that. How do we reflect with that in regards to like, how we respond to these events, and then what's going to be the way that we bounce back from these events? Healing hearts. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, hardened hearts. Hardened hearts. Okay. Corruption. Yeah, that's being torn down and burnt down for sure. Let me see. Vert Keeper said, I experienced popping in the air, like electromagnetic stuff clashing with surrounding atmosphere. Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on too, Vert. Like for real, because the other day, it's funny because I was taking the trash out the other day, and it was my first time coming outside that particular day. And like it was crazy because when I came out, I remember I had my dog with me, and I went to take the trash out, and it was like the way the sun was blaring, it wasn't no clouds in the sky, and it was like a direct beam, of the sun just shining right down in the area where I was at, and it hit me like head on. And when it did that, bro, I remember like literally looking, like seeing little black like dots, like little tiny black orbs or dots. And it was nuts because I had never seen anything like that. Now I have had times like maybe playing football or playing any type of sports out in the sun where you either get hit or you get tackled or you fall hard or whatever. And then when you get up, you kind of have, what they say, them little cobwebs or whatever. You can kind of, I won't say see stars, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who's seen this. They're kind of like y'all remember that candy? I forgot what the name of that candy was, but it was fruit roll-ups. And you know how fruit roll-ups, they'll be rolled up and then you peel the taffy or the candy part off of the roll-up, but then you still had the paper that was underneath it. So I would see like little, almost like DNA strands in the sky or in the air, you know what I'm saying? After like going through some sort of major contact from like a hard tackle or hitting somebody hard or something like that. And like I remember like getting up from the contact or whatever, and seeing like almost like little DNA strands in the sky, which was crazy. It was weird. But I saw something like that the other day, but they were just little black dots, like little black orbs. I'm like, yo, this is different. So yeah, Ryan, he ain't playing, man. Nah, you ain't crazy, bro. Like I just had an experience like that literally last week. Like literally, it just happened. And like I said, I was directly in the beam of the line of the sun, like the way the sun was at. It was probably, I'm thinking now, I don't remember exactly what time it was, but just thinking about where the sun was at, I would have to say it was anywhere between probably like 12:30 and 1:30 or 2 o'clock p.m. because the way the sun was almost like up at high noon, but it was at an angle. So I know it probably wasn't directly 12, but it probably was like a little after 12 o'clock. But it was different. I'm talking about it was different. Like I was like, yo, I had to kind of blink my eyes a little bit because I wear contacts most of the time. And I know sometimes for those who wear contacts, sometimes they can kind of go in a certain way, or they get misplaced, and you got to kind of either mess around with them by opening and closing, or you got to take them out, readjust them, or whatever. But yeah, this wasn't that because it was perfectly snug where it was at, and it was crazy, man. But I definitely saw them little black orbs, so I felt like that was some sort of reaction to a solar flare download, or a neutrino, or something. Some sort of particle that had to do something with the power of the sun for sure. Yeah, nah, that's facts. Nikki Vadoon, I hope I'm saying that right. Please give me grace if I'm not. 4250 says this is exactly the kind of stuff that inspired parts of my sci-fi novel, The Veil Protocol. We are waking up on we woke. That's what's up. I like the sound of that. Is it Nikki? Nikki? I'm just gonna say Miss Dunn. Because like I said, I don't want to mess up your name, but I definitely am interested in hearing more about your novel because that sounds very interesting. The Veil Protocol. That sounds pretty dope, actually. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in hearing a little bit more about that. Okay. So not supposed to feel anything awake. Supposed to power up during the rest. Yeah. Well, I saw something there that day. I definitely feel like I've been feeling it with the resting part though. And that's another thing, family. Have y'all been feeling extra fatigued, extra tired? I know I have, and it's crazy because I know I work a lot and I keep late hours a lot of times. But I've been working on that, and even with me working on doing better with that, I still be feeling like no matter how much I sleep, I'm not getting enough sleep. So I don't feel like I'm the only one that's feeling that because I've seen and heard and spoke to other people that was feeling the same way. So have y'all been feeling the effects of like really, really, really just feeling like super tired or just not having, enough rest, even though you got the right amount of rest or what you normally would consider the right amount of rest? If so, let me know, family. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's definitely teaching us a powerful lesson for sure. Khadijah, that's real. Very powerful. So powerful, we won't forget it. I can tell you that. We definitely won't forget it. Yeah, Raz Turn said, I've been seeing orbs floating In and out. Yeah. It's happening, family. It's definitely happening for sure. Ryan Renee 584. The plasma you feel from the sun is different for sure. The thermostat. Yeah. That was a bar too, by the way. The plasma you feel from the sun is different for sure. The thermostat isn't accurate no more. That's facts. Big facts, man. That's big facts. Yes, sir. AT Brown, Heron, Peace family. What's good with you? What's good? Yeah. It's a lot, family. A whole lot. There's a whole lot more. A whole lot more. Like I said, this one was supposed to be done last week, but for some reason I couldn't get it into the platform. So what I did, I just kind of updated the new information that took place over the last 7 days prior to today, because actually I finished it yesterday because I was gonna do this live last night, but was having more issues with the technology. But I think it was Ifa Nina that was telling me earlier this week, saying that I knew we had the full moons, but I didn't know it was in Mercury retrograde. So that makes sense, man, because the technology definitely it been technology in for sure, to say the least. But so back to the Earth, the ocean heat, the marine anomalies, record high surface temperatures, sea surface temperatures. A lot of that I think does have something to do with the Super El Nino. June, the global surfaces reached a record high. Marine heat waves are expanding across multiple ocean basins. The ocean is warming up, with amplifying, global weather extremes. And now all this is going back to, Imoja. It's going back to Olokun, right? Because those are the water deities, of the ocean and the deep ocean. And it's heating up. So when we talk about them heating up the way that they are, we then now have to kind of think about what's happening in Antarctica, because a lot of those ice walls are melting, family, and as they melt, that's going to contribute more, to the water, right? And then you think about all these different data centers, right? They're building all these different damn data centers, and these data centers are drinking up all the water. They're using a whole ton of these data centers are using up a whole ton of our water. So it's like I don't know how many people are paying attention to, the droughts that are going on in a lot of different places. As a matter of fact, Florida is another place that's going through a drought. And then we talk about the millions upon millions of gallons of water that they're using for these data centers. That's not helping the cause. Like it's really, I feel like it's speeding up, the inevitable. So when we think about that, right? Where do you guys, what do y'all feel like this is going to lead to, family? Like, especially with all those different, like I said, the data centers who are creating the droughts. So now when you look at the droughts that we're having, right, with them using it for the data centers and all that, and then you look at all these different wildfires that's going on the West Coast. You got droughts going on over here on the East Coast, and you got these super heat domes, that's loading up with the heat. So you have all this hot heat, fire, temperature, right? And then you talk about losing water, right? Like you got a lot of droughts, a lot of places that don't have any water. And then you talk about the heat in the ocean, the heat, and the vast majority of the ocean being extremely hot. All that really is a recipe for disaster, family. And this is not, I'm not into the fear mongering. I'm not into, the doomsday foolishness and all that. But I am into being real. And I am into sharing, valuable information and research, what's going on right now, what's happening. So when we think about that, it sounds like it's a recipe for true disaster, because when we talk about that water heating up the way it is, right? We talk about these earthquakes, we talk about these tsunamis. I mean, these earthquakes and the volcanoes and all that. That's a really, really strong sign of the core of the earth being extremely hot. I mean, extremely hot. And that goes back to this deity that, I started the show with earlier, that a lot of people, I haven't heard a lot about him. I'm not saying a lot of people don't know, but as far as I know, most people that speak about Orisha, it's like the 7 major Orishas, and there's a few others that I feel like a lot of people talk about. But Aganju is a very, very powerful deity. And I feel like with what's happening right now, I know Oya is attributed to the storms. Shango is also attributed to fire, lightning, all these different aspects of nature that those two coincide and coexist with, in regards to what they do. But Aganju is an ancient old deity, very powerful, because, like I said, with the aspects of nature that he's connected to, we can't help but see the influence of what is being brought, to the planet right now. So I want to really share. I wasn't going to wait till the end of the presentation to share this, but I'm going to share it now. I might share it again on the end about the 4 phases of what we're seeing when we're dealing with what's taking place on the planet. Not to mention all of them, I feel like are playing their part in regards to what we're seeing with the aspects and characteristics of them and the domains that they preside over in regards to nature. But this particular deity, I feel like he is somebody that, like, it's almost like the unseen hand of power. Like, you know what I mean? You know how in mob movies you have, you know, the Goodfellas, the Godfathers, and things of that nature. You got the bosses. You don't really see too much or hear too much about the boss, but you do see, you know, the capos. You do see, you know what I'm saying, like the street enforcers. You see all that. But there's also bosses out there, you know, that hide behind the scene or just stay, you know, stay off in the cut. But boy, when they come out, they come out. And I feel like that's what we're seeing now. Like we know that, you know, the planet's going through a major shift, but we also now got to be aware of there are different energies and different forces that are also coming to play. Like they jumping into the party too. And so Aganju is one of those very powerful deities that's a very, very old, very, very ancient, historically powerful deity. And I feel like now's the time that he's coming to do what he do, which is bring about the destruction, and then also to kind of help with Oya and to help with Kabiesi Shango in regards to destruction, but also to bring about transformation and putting an end to the old and bringing about, you know, the seeds and the birth of the new and bringing about the construction. So when we talk about that, we see him in 4 phases, right? So which phase do y'all feel like we're in now? Because right now we see a lot of things going on. You know, we see the phases of the eruptions. You know, we see the phases of the lava flowing. We see the phases of the, you know, the twin tornadoes. I mean, the twin earthquakes, you know what I mean? And tornadoes, actually, typhoons too are going down, right? So who is Aganju? Aganju is one of the oldest Orishas in the Yoruba tradition. He governs volcanoes, mountains, earth, fire, and civilization. He is associated with strength, transformation, leadership, and hidden wealth. He is the Orisha of geological power, and he is the most relevant Orisha on the planet right now. Based upon what we're seeing and all the different things that are happening, he is extremely, extremely relevant, because I feel like it's him who came in like kind of like Debo. When Debo joined WWF, like he came in, you know what I'm saying, and kind of shut down the whole wrestling federation. Like I feel like that's what Aganju is doing right now, you know, in regards to nature, like coming in and being a catalyst to shutting ish down. So, you know, that's who he is. And these are the phases that he, you know, brings about to teach. So phase 1, dormancy, the hidden work, the internal pressure, the preparation. You know, a lot of us on this channel, a lot of us who are in tribe, we've been through this. Like we literally have done this. We've done the inner work. You've done the detoxing. You've done the fasting. You've done the breaking away from liability behavior. You've done the breaking out of old relationships. You've done the leaving of old jobs and environments. You've done the walking away from spiritual places and, you know, traditions that didn't serve you. You know what I mean? So now you're walking into or waking up to or standing up into your truth, into your power. You know what I'm saying? Living and speaking truth to power. Well, we was in the dormancy phase prior to doing so, right? Phase 1. So, you know, this phase is nothing like, you know, it's like what's happening on the surface, but actually happening beneath, right? Everything is building. Sometimes you might feel stuck when you're in the dormancy phase. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about, I think it's like growth and elevation. And I'm like, you know, a lot of us want to just have the microwavable meal when it comes to growth and elevation, but we can't really have it like that, because we're not going to have the full, you know, results or the full benefits of the nutrients, you know, that comes along with the process, right? So when we talk about the process, we got to go through that dormancy phase, because if we don't, you know, we had that rapid, you know, that rapid meal, that rapid growth or whatever. It's almost, you know, no shade to nobody who got one if anybody's on here, but it's almost like getting a BBL, or the people who get the fake locks and, you know, get the locks installed without going through the process, right? And I'm not judging. I ain't throwing no shade, because that's none of my business. That's not me. I'm just trying to make a metaphor, family. But with that being said, when we go through it the organic way, I would then have to equate that to Kepera. You know what I'm saying? The dung beetle of ancient Kemet. When we talk about Kepera, we talk about, you know, the dung beetle. The way that the dung beetle creates is they literally go into and build a burrow of feces, a burrow of dung, and then the female will literally, she will lay her eggs within that pile of dung, within that pile of feces, and then she'll throw more feces on top of it until she buries it deep into like a middle, like almost like the yolk in the egg, right? And then she'll continue to make sure that there's enough dung to make sure that her eggs are, you know, safe and that they're secure in there. And then throughout that process, Once the dung beetle then comes to life, and it then comes to, the part where it's ready to come out into the world, it's kind of like the same thing, same process as the caterpillar, right? I mean, as the caterpillar and the butterfly, right? When it goes into the cocoon, the dung beetle, then the baby dung beetle, as they unhatch, they have to unburrow themselves out of the pile of feces, out of the pile of dung, in order to come out into the world. But once they do, they come out into the world and they transform into, one of the most sacred, holiest of holy, I would say entities in the animal kingdom of all, especially from the Kemetic culture, of all of them, like for real, because that beetle ain't no joke. That's the Kapara, the god of transformation. I feel like that's us, family. I feel like we right now, as a people, as a culture, and as a planet, we're going through that awakening to the God self. You know what I'm saying? In order to transform into, these transformers. So shout out to Optimus Prime. You know what I mean? Like we transforming right now, family. So yeah, we're going through that dormancy phase. So sometimes it could feel stuck, being in the cocoon or being in the metaphorical, ball of dung, but it gives us the opportunity to grow, transform, and take flight. I feel like that's where we're at right now. So we seeing Mama Earth come through and knock ish down, knock things over so we could build and then, transform and bring about that elevation from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. So it might feel like nothing's moving, but we're seeing a whole lot is moving. And it might seem like things is quiet, maybe too quiet, but now Mother Earth ain't being quiet. So, and that's Jay, this is what I was talking about right here when I was asking about Cali, about Southern California's fault system. Silent on the surface, but wound tighter than it has been in over 1,000 years, beneath the surface. So that right there, we're talking about Aganju again in dormancy, So dormancy is not delay, it's preparation. The mountain is never truly still. It's always in motion. So then we go to phase 2, the rumbling, the warning signs, the necessary tension, the pressure building. This is where the signs start, right? Small earthquakes, the tremors, things start cracking at the edges. The relationships start showing strain. The careers don't fit no more. It's funny, I think I was saying that organically. That was, I didn't realize that was into this part of the presentation too. But yeah, that's what's happening in real time, as far as like the elevation of people separating. The relationships are showing strain, careers don't fit no more. The pressure, that we feel, it's not, we can't really name it, but we know that we feel it. And it's happening across the globe. So then even when we talk about Tenerife, the Canary Islands, 250 plus micro earthquakes in literally 1 week. 1 week, 250 plus mini earthquakes. And that's usually brewing to, make way for a big one. So we already seen 2 big ones, I think, in Venezuela, them 2 7-point plus. But then we talk about this is a whole nother part of the world right now, over there in the Canary Islands and Tenerife, where those 250 micros are taking place. So it's something to pay attention to, family, especially if you're in that geographic location in the world. It's definitely something to pay attention to and make sure that, you have the proper evacuation or, preparation plan set up, and intact and ready to go, because we just don't know at this point. But it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the mind's eye, the Ori, and just being right within, within self. So Aganju's teaching for this rumbling is not a problem. It's information. The earth is telling us, that things is about to change, and it's changing right now, right before our eyes in real time. So after phase 2 with the rumbling, we then go into phase 3, which is the eruption. And like I said, we seeing that in real time, So the eruption, transformation, release, purification. This is the moment of maximum disruption, and we are seeing it right now, real time, on this Saturday, July, now officially the 4th, 2026, right? The maximum, opportunity of disruption. The jobs end, the relationships end, the life that we thought that was, what we wanted or where we wanted to be is now falling apart, and it feels like destruction, but it's not. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the preparation. Preparation creates separation. And then we see the global, I think that was the earthquake in Philippines, started on June 8th, 2026, 7.8 magnitude. At that point, I think 46 lives were lost, 40,000 displaced. The earth is restructuring itself in real time. The Aganju teaching, eruption is not the end, it's the purge. What cannot survive? The fire was not meant to continue. And before we go into the last phase, family, I'm going to share that footage again from this happening in real time. And once again, for those who just joined us, because we got quite a few more tribe members that just tapped in with us that wasn't here in the beginning, family, I wanted to share with y'all footage from a podcast I did back in February when the volcano I can't remember what it's called. It starts with a K, but it's in Hawaii. And at this point in time, that was the 42nd time that the volcano erupted. And when it erupted, the lava spewed 1,300 feet into the air. And what's amazing about this is back in February, I had no idea 4 or 5 months later I'll be doing this presentation about Aganju. But now, you know, I feel like the way Spirit will have it, this is the divine perfect time to do a presentation about Aganju. Yeah, that's powerful, family. Like the first time I think I had muted the sound, but I didn't want to mute it that time because I wanted everybody to hear that. Because can you imagine the heat though? Like the heat that's coming from that kind of significant like lava spewing out at that height, at that magnitude, at that velocity. Like think about the velocity. You know what I mean? Like I can't even imagine how deep into the Earth's core that lava it came up from, where it rose up from. Right. And then on top of that, it's from which looks like a very large volcano. I'm gonna have to do my research to see what the size and the dimensions of that volcano is, but it ain't no small one. And the fact that lava had to brew from the bottom and then raise up from the heat and then to spew up 1,300 feet into the air. And like I said, that's the number 13, for the mothers, and then number 42 for the laws of Maat. And then that was in February when I did that show that clip came from. But then on top of that, to turn around in June to have this year in the Isheshe Orisha Ifa cultural tradition be Osai Meji, that's an exclamation mark right there, family. Like for real. Like that's an exclamation mark in regards to like what we're seeing right now. And I don't know if I remember to share the little the synopsis of what the Osai Meji Odu is about, but I'll probably do that before we close out. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish with this last part of the phases of Aganju. So phase 4, the renewal. You know what I'm saying? After the storm, man, comes the sunshine. Like it's always, it's almost like labor pains. It's almost like pains. Labor pains for the for the beginning, for the new transformation. So after we go through all that, man, the disruptions, the eruptions, and all that, we can look forward to the renewal. Fresh land, fertility, growth, abundance. Hawaii's big islands exist because of volcanic eruptions. So as the land of Iceland, exists because of volcanic eruption. So the most fertile soil on the planet will be, that sits on volcanic rock. We have new ecosystems that emerge from the ashes. After the collapse, we rebuild. And then after the fire, we're cleaner. We cleanse. We get to, cleanse from all the heat. Just like the diamond. Like those coals got to be chipped away. The coal got to be chipped away from the diamond in order for it to shine bright. So that's where we are now. Like we chipping away the coal, we purging the parasites. You know what I mean? Like Mother Earth is doing what she do. She's flushing it all out, and from the inside out too. So after the eruption, we claim new ground. So the teacher moment from that particular aspect of Aganju is every eruption creates new land. The renewal is always proportional to the eruption. The bigger the upheaval, the greater the foundation that follows. So I feel like that's where we are, family. Especially us, as melanated beings on this particular demographic, of landmass, we definitely have been through them phases of Aganju. So yeah, man, we here now. we are here now. So let me jump back into these comments. Let me see where I left off, family. Okay, shout out to Truth Rise 144K3 M373 solar flare just went off. That's like number 12. Wow, that's crazy. And you put that at 11:43. So if you still here, family, did that happen like right before you posted that comment? That's crazy if it did. But that's not the first time I've seen something like that either, because I remember the show. I want to say it was the show I did last week. I was talking about something. This is when it really started turning up with these volcanoes and earthquakes and typhoons and monsoons and all this stuff. I remember talking about some of the earthquakes that had just took place, and I'll be damned if like the next day when I was doing my research report, I saw that literally 2 earthquakes took place the same time that we were doing a live stream talking about the earthquakes that took place that day. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I think it was might have been last Thursday or Friday. So yeah, it's crazy right now, family, for sure. But the entire universe, I think that was the question I asked about what we needed to rebuild. FRB Supreme Medicine. I don't know about the universe, family. I think Earth, yeah, we definitely got to do something with this one. But there's other planets and star systems that ain't dealing with all this foolishness, man. We came here to clean this ish up. Like we knew, all of us that came here to do this work, we knew what we came here for. We signed up for this mission. All right, we knew we was coming to a toilet bowl, and that's what that's what Mama Earth is, not in a literal way, but in a kind of metaphorically, temporarily. It's just one little fragment in time, that would have that reputation, but that's because of the parasites that's been running amok and fucking shit up for the last couple thousand years. But as we can see, they're actually on the way up out of here right now, in real time. And we're gonna start seeing a lot of them just kind of, spontaneously combust too, because like I said, a lot of these entities that are causing this disruption. Now we're gonna get deep too with this, family, and I think I won't probably go into all that tomorrow, but I'm gonna definitely go into the extraterrestrial stuff. But when we think about a lot of these entities that are the disruptors, that are behind a lot of the stuff that's taking place, a lot of them are not surface inhabitants. They don't live on the surface of the planet. A lot of them live underneath the planet. A lot of them live, in what some would say the underworld, but they live, underneath, because they already cannot be exposed to the regular old sun that we had, right? So now you mess around and now we got a new, like a software updated a new, more impactful, more powerful sun. They really can't mess with that, like for real. And that's why, a lot of the stuff that's happening with the planet herself and all these destructions, all the stuff that we're seeing, a lot of that has to do with the sun. You know what I mean? Like the sun and, the Mother Earth, like Earth herself has elevated in frequency, and the sun is on a whole nother level with frequency. And that's why we see the Schumann resonance spikes. That's why we see the solar flares. That's why we see these hot temperatures. And yeah, some of it does have to do with weather manipulation, but not all of it. I feel like a vast majority of it is real. I feel like because, like I said, Mother Earth, she purging, she getting them up out of here. Like we literally are going into the golden age. Like we're going from the Piscean to the Aquarian age. And so that's a divine feminine age. You know what I'm saying? Like the Aquarian age is a very divine feminine age. So then we talk about, like I said, the Odu of Osai Meji, divine feminine. Once again, that wasn't the first volcanic eruption, but number 42. I think that's the first one that I was able to share. 42, the laws of Maat. 1,300 feet. That's all divine feminine. Man, so it's like they letting things be known. We ain't having it. And it's time for us to come sit on the throne and do what we do. And that's to, rule with balance, with grace, with freedom, righteousness, justice, equality, reciprocity, and all the others. Let me see. Greetings, family. Just tuning in, listening. Yeah. Appreciate you, family. Appreciate you for joining us. Not sure if it's your first time, but if it is, don't forget to like and share and subscribe. I definitely appreciate that, man. Especially if you can share with some family members or friends, or people who you feel like will definitely benefit, or will rock with the information for sure. Soul reasons. Nah, it wasn't coming from my eyes, but it definitely was like right. It's like right in front of my eyes. Within, I'll say, like, okay, my laptop's about 2 feet away. I'll say within like a 2 to 3 feet distance away from my eyes. But it definitely has something to do with the sun, though. That I know that for sure, because even like I said, when I walked out of the house, the sun was shining so bright and so hot, like it immediately like made an impact. It hit me immediately because I don't know what the temperature was. I don't think it was like the hottest part of the day yet. Because down here, I'll say probably about between, I don't know, maybe between 2 and 4 o'clock, 3 or 5 o'clock is probably when it's the hottest part of the day, because at that point you got the heat and the humidity. They tag team you then. So earlier in the day, it's probably more so just the heat busting you upside the head. But later on, depending on what part of the summer, later on, man, when it get a little later on into the day, that's when the humidity come out to play. So then they both tag teaming on you. You know what I'm saying? Like they like the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk, where they're coming out to the bang, 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 bang your head in on the turnbuckle, man. Like for real. It gets crazy down here in this Florida sun, man, for sure. But yeah, man, it's definitely going down, family. Definitely going down. I see y'all saying, yeah, being tired and feeling the effects of what's happening cosmically. Danielle from St. Albert, what's the lesson? The lesson we're talking about nature and how to decode the aspects of nature and what's taking place currently on the planet from an ancestral spiritual lens perspective. That's what the lesson is. And if you want to learn more about the lesson or take it personal, Danielle, I got an ebook that it kind of takes this presentation and puts it into a book format, for you to read over it and to study it, use it, apply it, because we can kind of use some of these lessons and apply it to life. And shout out to my Patreon members and private community members. I believe I put that into the family, into the community. I think it was today. Today. So they got that, and I'll be putting it in there for the rest of y'all too, family. Those who are in the Patreon, private YouTube community, I'll be putting that PDF in there for y'all too. You just released it on. If you can, Nakiba Dunn, share your link to your book, so that way the tribe can support you. And then, like I said, I definitely would like to learn more about it too, man. Because I said that sounds like my kind of information. I like tapping into things like that. So, congratulations on your project too, for sure. Let me see. She said it's a 3-book trilogy. Book 1 just got released on Amazon. So yeah, I definitely would like to see more about that project. It sounds very interesting. Brother Roger says, how do we identify the Orisha that we are associated with or assigned to as well? How are we to receive their presence, both known and unknown entities and energies? I constantly fight off the fatigue. Yeah, Brother Roger, I don't know if you was on them calls with us in the Patreon. Was that you? Because I know it was a Roderick in there. Was that you that was in there with us in the private community, Roderick? If so, let me know in the comments, because if that's you, then I can oh no, that's not you. Okay, so we got 2 of them, because the other one, I think he was from Mississippi. So no, that's a different. Okay, so yeah, Brother Roderick, in order to really find out, you would probably, well, the way my spiritual lineage goes, you would have to go through what we call your Eleki ceremony, and that's where you receive your beads of the deities. So, every house, every Ile, every temple has a different way that they go about doing it. The way I was raised in my lineage, which is kind of like a combination, but my lineage goes back to Oyo Tunji, the African village in South Carolina, where my godmother was married to and was the wife to the Oba, Oba Adifumi Osurjiman. He was the Oba of Oyo Tunji, the first Oba of Oyo Tunji. And matter of fact, I've had let me say like 2, 3 of his daughters on the show. And I'm sure, let me see if I can get it back on her too. Ye's been on the show one time too, my godmother. But anyway, we come from that system out of Oyo Tunji. And so the way we do it, you get your Elekes, and during the Eleki ceremony, you will find out who your head Orisha is. I have heard some people say that they found out who their head was through divination, which, I guess it's possible. That wasn't the way I found out. So I'm not going to speak on something that I don't know or that I don't practice. But the way I was brought into the culture and the tradition was when I got my Elekes is when I found out who my head was. And then from there, that's when you can work with them. But, I mean, you can work with all the deities, though. Like, it really, we can work with all of them, for real. I mean, and you should work with all of them, honestly. But of course, your deity is the one that you definitely will have the most, I would say, intimate relationship with in regards to your journey. And then let me see if I answered all of the questions. Let me see. How are we to receive their presence and unknown? Yeah, that's the way to find out. First and foremost, in regards to find out who your head is. But then, as far as working with them, hold on one second. I'm gonna pull something. I'm gonna try to see. Matter of fact, Roger, what I'll do, because you're in the private community, so I got a dope study guide, an Orisha study guide that I'll post in the YouTube and the Patreon too. So that way, I feel like I know it's gonna help tremendously with not only answering your question, but bringing a lot of clarity to you. So matter of fact, I'll share that on the screen too, real quick. Hopefully, I can do it without having to delete some of the other stuff from the presentation. But yeah, I'll go through that real quick with you, Roger. And that goes back to like some of the stuff I was saying that we got coming up in the tribe, in the community. Let's see. Y'all bear with me 1 second, family. I got a bunch of different files open, so I'll make sure I get the right one. Let's see. Taking a long time to load. Like I said, that goes back to what I've been doing. Okay, here we go. So yeah, brother Roger, this right here, I'm gonna share this with y'all tonight. After we finish the stream, I'll post it in the matter of fact. Let me just say tomorrow. Don't quote me on tonight. I don't know how long we're gonna go, and I don't want to not get in there when I say so. So it'll definitely be in there by tomorrow if I don't get it tonight, depending on how long we go tonight. But this is what I'll be sharing with y'all. So especially for someone like where you are, I feel like in the beginning stages, I made this specifically for people who are brand new, to the tradition and to the culture to get clarity. So it's the Ashe 7 Major Orisha Study Guide, and it goes over, the basic principles of each deity, each Orisha. As a matter of fact, I just thought about it. I put it on the website too, family. So I'm gonna run over there to the site because I'm giving it away for free right now. 4th of July weekend, looking to just share some love and just show love to the family and to the tribe. So I'm gonna copy and paste this link real quick, and then for everybody, literally everybody on the call, if y'all want to go ahead and grab your copy, I'm about to share the link with you to download it. I think I had just put it on the website like a day ago. So if y'all want to get y'all a copy of this guide, man, go ahead and if I can get the link to click. And here we go to technology again. All right, bear with me, family, because like I said, this technology definitely been technology. Camera then started moving and doing things on his own, trying to show my whole studio setup, all willy-nilly with it. And I ain't asked it to. Wow. So now I can't even paste the damn link. Ain't that something? Well, I'll tell you, boy, it's something else. Let me see. I gotta figure out how I could get it to go, because now I can't, for some reason, I can't paste the damn link, but it let me paste it right into another browser. So let me try it again. I'm telling you, boy, this technology be technology. Okay, here we go. Boom. All right, family. So if you want to grab you a copy of the study guide, the link is in the comments. So yeah, I'll go through it real quick too. But yeah, brother Roger, this is the one that I created for the tribe, for the community. So it's a 7 Major Orisha Study Guide. We go through, all 7 of the major Orisha. We start with Eshu Eglegba, with, the open of roads. We give like enough information for you to have a strong foundation of, of each Orisha. So we talk about its colors, sacred colors. We talk about the numbers. We talk about the natural environment, and then different ways, to give prayers and different ways to honor and work with Eshu. And we do that for each one of them. So then we got Ogun. Same thing with Ogun. We go over him. We go over his numbers. We go over his colors. We go over his, natural environments and the domains in which he dominates, and then we have a little prayer, to go over working with Baba Ogunye. And then we go to Ye Oshun, the goddess of sweet waters and abundance and prosperity. And then we, same thing with her colors, her numbers, her natural environments. We do it with all of the 7 major Orishas. So, with that being said, Imoja, then we go to Imoja, her colors, her numbers, her environment. We go to Baba Shango, Kabyesi, Baba Shango, King of Thunder, Justice, humanitarianism, the drums, the owner of the big world drum, colors, numbers, natural environment, you know what I mean? So we go through all the top 7. Then my Baba, Epa Orisha, Baba Obatala. We go over him, his numbers, colors, domains, natural places in nature. Yeah, man. So, and then don't forget, last but definitely not least, Orisha Oya, Queen, Goddess, Mother of Transformation, the Niger River, the cemetery, courage, endings to all things that no longer serve, planting the seeds of life to all things that are the new beginnings, where we go out with the old and with the new, paying homage and honor and reverence to the Orisha, our Oris, and our ancestors too. So yeah, family, that's I'm glad you asked that question, Brother Roger, because that's what I got for you, especially being a tribe member with the private community and the Patreon. I definitely appreciate your love and support, family. So that's for you. And yeah, so I got a whole lot more. As a matter of fact, I think Sunday we're gonna start the Sacred Journey community as well. So that's why last week was kind of slow for me on the channel, because I've been building this stuff out for about a month and a half, family. And it's just, working with creating balance, between family life, I still got to do my spiritual counseling and, all the other stuff I do for not just the tribe members, but, for clients as well. So it's like, I've been really trying to put this stuff out, and it was supposed to start the 1st of June. But you know what I mean? It's just like, there was just so many different obstacles, so many different roadblocks, trying to muck stuff up and trying to, you know what I mean? Like, just ratchet up the process. But everything happens in divine time, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, we don't get what we want when we want it, but we get what we need when we need it. So I feel like now is the time that, you know what I mean, I could really, put this information out there and really take it to the next level with the tribe. And I'm gonna boldly say this. I'm gonna humbly say it, but I'm gonna boldly say it. You're rocking with the #1 spirituality YouTube channel, tribe, and community in the world, like straight up. And I feel like that's what it is, because it ain't about me. It's about those who, that we tribe together. You know what I mean? So everybody in this tribe plays a role, and has contributed. And so I appreciate every single one of y'all, and that motivates me to go harder. You know what I mean? And to continue to do the work, continue to, dig deep, tap in, and make it do what it do by any and all means necessary. Period. We here now. So yeah, family, I appreciate y'all, man. So yeah, Brother Roger, thanks again for the dope question, because I definitely got that for you, man. So hopefully you get your copy, and yeah, and we're gonna make it happen. And then also I'll be sharing in the YouTube private community some of the links to the last 3 powerful private community calls that we've had, man. Very powerful. We had a whole breakdown and presentation on strictly Aganju, more so than what I share here, because this was more of I want to share about all of the deities in regards to what's happening on the planet with this one. But the one that we did Monday was actually all Aganju. And I did share some with the other Orisha. But matter of fact, that whole presentation will be in the ebook too. So I got an ebook that I'll be posting on that too. So I got a lot of books coming, a lot of lessons, and a lot of training, for those who want to, start their path and their journey into Orisha. And the main core of it, I'll probably be putting this in the communities, if not tomorrow, Sunday, because I plan on coming live again tomorrow night too, to get into some extraterrestrial stuff. But I want to get the program, up and running and into the communities too, starting, going into next week. So, but Sunday I might be able to get that stuff going. But yeah, it's gonna be dope, man, because we're gonna definitely, the 4 main pillars and phases we're gonna start with, working with the ancestors. Then we're gonna focus on working on Ori, which we actually had a dope private community call today on Ori, a presentation. And then from the ancestors to Ori to the Orisha and then into Ifa, and then we kind of bring it all together, kind of like a quadruple pounder burger. You know what I mean? We're gonna start with the bun, then we're gonna get to the meat, and then we're gonna get to the condiments, and we're gonna put some more meat, then we're gonna get to the condiments. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make that thing into a big, beautiful, sexy, spiritual buffet, where we're going to, really get this thing cracking. So with that, family, hopefully that helped answer your question, Brother Roderick. Now I got to find my way back to the comments, family. So y'all, Give me some grace while I try to find my way back to wherever the heck I was at. Let me see. Shout out to South Africa in the building. I saw who was that? Tegbo Zima. Hopefully I said your name right, family. But we appreciate you tapping in from South Africa, from the continent. Shout out to Mama Teresa. How you doing, Mama? Grateful to hear your the company you had last night. I'm definitely grateful and happy to hear that. You know, it's divine, man. We're living in a divine time. And so appreciate you for joining us and tapping in with us, Mama. And like I said, I'm definitely grateful to hear, you know, your company that paid you a nice, pleasant visit. Let me see where we at. I'm way behind. Hold on, fam. Let me find where we at with these comments. I think I'm still way behind. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know where I was supposed to be at, y'all, but just, you know, if I missed yours, show me some grace, please, because it's hard to keep up all these by myself. As a matter of fact, anybody who want to tap in and be a moderator, man, if there's anybody out there who don't mind joining the shows with me to maybe help me out with the moderations, man, I definitely be willing to pay it forward, you know, to get some assistance with some of these things. But with that, though, Emperor True, what's good with your family? I see you made it for round 2 tonight. Back with us. Let me see. Mother Earth is showing us what we must do: destroy the old self, refresh, reset. Remember 2020? Yeah, I do. They told us this was coming all markets crashing together 2030, 35. Yeah. 2030, that's it. The world as we know it right now will not be the same. Period. That's it. like for real. And like I said, I'm gonna get into some of that tomorrow. Because it's real, like it's really real, family. You know, we've been talking about this from day one, and you know, to see it all come like into fruition, like it's actually nuts. Because I remember, I want to say this is what 2026. I want to say maybe 2020 is either 23 maybe or 24. I'll never forget it. I was driving. I was headed to Lowe's, and I can't remember why. I mean, I do know why. I was just curious as to how or why, but I just remember getting a download, like a Morse code download, and I'm like, yo, this is it. And I was in the car, you know, with someone, and like I said, and we just spoke about this last night or the night before, but it was like I just remember saying, yo, this is it. And then she was like, what do you mean this is it? I was like, this is it. Like, this is the creme de la creme. This is what they want to call Armageddon, the apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. This is it. And I just recall, you know, after that, so many different things started moving in warp speed. And it's just amazing because I was like, yo, that's why when I had that signal, when I got that download, that message, I was like, yo, I had to say it in front of somebody. I needed a witness. I needed some receipts. So now, you know what I'm saying, we fast forward 2 years later, and here we are. You know what I mean? And it's like so many different things have taken place and unfolded, and it's happening in rapid rate. So with that, you know what I'm saying, like this is it. You know, it's been predicted, it's been talked about. It all depends on where you get your information from and how you decipher it, you know, how it resonates with you, you know, how you look at it in regards to what's actually taking place. But yeah, this is the end of the times that we know it for a long time. You know, because, and shout out to Professor Kaba. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to start the interview we had with him last week, with him breaking down the significance of the precession of the equinox. Because now we're talking about a 25 to 26,000 year cyclical cycle that takes place every single 25, 20. It's really, some people say 24, some people say 25, some people say 26. So let's just say anywhere between the 24 and 26,000 year cycle. There's always a massive great reset. It's always that. And this, here we are right now. We're on the verge of it right now here in 2026. And so when we look at it from that perspective, we're looking at it primarily from an astrological or cosmic perspective. When we talk about the, you know, the precession of the equinox, but everything still dwindles down and it still plays a role into what we're living with here in, you know, in the physical realm on the planet, planetary perspective. So as above, so below, as within, so without. And, you know, it couldn't be more, I feel like, revealing to like see what we're seeing right now with the significance of what the earth is doing. You know what I mean? Like real talk, because as above, so below, as within, so without. we are seeing the eruption of what's been brewing and what's been boiling and what's been heating up from underneath the surface. And now that thing is erupting. So here we are. Here the F we are. It's happening. So I guess it depends on what team you're playing for is how you look at the dynamics of what's happening. But shoot, the team that I play for, look, we're here now. We want this because this is what it's, this is what it is. So at the end of the day, it has to happen. It's not going to be pretty, and some of us ain't going to make it, but it's the greater good. It's for the sake of the greater good that the planet does what she has to do, which is to purge and get rid of all the parasites and the deletes. And if anybody out there, as far as those who are dealing with the fatigue, I saw several of y'all say the same thing too. Look into doing your detoxes, family. Do your detoxes. Do your fasting. If you are in the midst of having like any type of what we would call liability behavior, like anything that kind of goes against the natural flow of, your body or your mind, mind, body, and spirit being in divine alignment with all these upgrades and with the sun and with the planet. Like, Like if you like to turn up and have your libations every day, maybe take a week or two off, a month or two, whatever. If you are a cigarette smoker or, anything that has to deal with like liability or anything that can kind of take away from the quality of our health, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, or financially, just try to maybe look into doing small purges, look into doing, small detoxes, look into doing small cleanses because it helps. Like real talk. Like I've been working on it myself. I'm about with my cleanse. I think I'm about 5 days in. Very powerful cleanse that I'm working on right now, man. I felt it the very first time I took it. Tastes terrible, but it's definitely working and doing this part with cleansing out my, my insides and getting rid of all the, toxins and all that different stuff. So it's like, man, I feel the difference already. I've been feeling it from day one when I first started, but it's like I'm feeling it each day. Continue to grow and to continue to, do the work, and it's helping spiritually, mentally. I feel more clear, not as foggy, and even like Maximum Risers and a few other tribe members and family members in there saying like we don't get enough rest. I'm one of them. So I'm one of the people. I don't believe in speaking on things I ain't practicing. I definitely got to get better with getting more rest, and that's facts. I'm working on it. And I have gotten better in some way, but I still got a long way to go. So I'm gonna continue working. So that's one of my ways of like pouring into self and pouring into the upgrades of my body, my temple, my mind, my clarity, my focus, all that good stuff. So yeah, definitely tap into that, family, because right now we're in a very magical, powerful time, man. And Mother Earth and the sun, Ra, it's definitely giving us a lot of solar flares, a lot of upgrades, a lot of things are elevating into the right capacity, the right elevational, the right vibrational frequency. Shout out to Outcast. We're now entering the 5th dimension of ascension. Our only intention is to take you high. Yeah, my God. Shout out to Cass. I think that was on ATL in his album. Let me see. Everlasting Life. Yes, sir. Vert said, I'm getting self-preservation and beware of the devil and the jack and the bite. Yeah. Yes, sir. I like that, Vert. Yeah, that's facts, man. That's facts. That's facts. That's a good question. Do you have to be I would say no. Don't quote me on that. I have to do some research and to look deeper into it, but I would say no. And the reason why I say that is because when it comes to these solar flares, there's other different aspects of it too. And there's other particles out there that I feel like are in direct correlation or relation to the solar flares, which are neutrinos. And neutrinos are very small, tiny particles that I believe they can penetrate through, like walls and all kind of other stuff too. So if that's the case and those two work in kind of like a tandem, then I would say that I don't know that you would have to be directly in this. And now it would benefit it. And forgive me for saying it this way, family, but this is the first thing that came to my mind in saying so. And I feel like we all here, so we all have been a product of it. But I would say and equate when it comes to what you're saying with the solar flares and happen to be in direct sunlight, I would equate that to having safe sex, right? When you have safe sex, when you're strapped up and you're going in there with your war, with your vest on, it's going to be, good. But if you mess around and you took the vest off, which I'm not saying that that's where, people should go, but, but in a responsible manner, of course, it feels a whole lot better. You know what I mean? So with that, that's how I would equate the sun. Like when we're in the indirect line or indirect path, we still can get the benefits. But man, you mess around and lay down on that beach or lay down in the park or somewhere, where you get that direct download, and now you're getting that, you're getting that rah, that good solar flare download. So that would be my my little 2 cents on that, family. But like I said, I definitely double back and just double check to make sure that that's what it is. Shout out to Miss Israel Phoenix Rose 777. I hope you are a female. If you're a male, forgive me, family, give me grace, because I don't want to assume, but I don't want to disrespect you either. But Phoenix Rose 777, I did not put my finger on it, but when I saw those spiritual celestial beings shooting to the earth under the cover of a coming rainstorm with lightning and thunder, I could tie it here with it. Let me find out, man. You got any footage of that? I would love to see it. But yeah, it is divine, like for real. It really is divine, like how all this is unfolding. Phoenix is rising, because even in the private community, some of the tribe was telling me about how some of the videos have been divine, and they've actually did the same thing as you. Like they shared experiences that they've actually had that was in literal direct divine alignment with one of the videos. Matter of fact, somebody, even if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was the last live stream or like one of the most recent ones, we were talking about something. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was like, it might have been the numbers. I remember talking about the 222s and 333s, 44. And I didn't forget about y'all, family. I'm definitely working on putting together a presentation and a video like this for them numbers too. Because I know I said I was going to get that one for y'all too. So I didn't forget. I just been working on, getting the training program and all that together for the community and for the tribe too. But that's definitely on my content calendar. So I'll be presenting that one to y'all too. But yeah. Somebody said the same thing on one of the live streams, that the alignment, the synchronicity of what we were talking about on the show, and they had literally just experienced something very similar in real time. Matter of fact, even I remember some people in the comments saying the same thing too. Like after the live stream, I think the next day, I went back and was like, I try to check the comments every day and respond to y'all, to just follow up with everybody. And like I said, my schedule's been crazy, so some days I don't get in it like I want to, but I do recall even some people saying in the comments that right as we were talking about that, they would see like that time, like on their clock during, them watching the show. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But that's synchronicity. That's spirit. That's the spirit guys. That's the ancestors. That's the deities. You know what I mean? Like they are communicating with us for a perfect reason. You know what I'm saying? Like they want us to receive these upgrades. They want us to get these downloads. They want us to, to be able to elevate and rise, in the frequency. We have to. We got to rise with the planet. We got to rise with the frequency of the planet. We got to rise with the cosmic frequency in order for us to, be able to make this trek and this transition from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. Let me see. Vert said, I checked. I'm able to look directly in the sun more now. Wow. I ain't tried that, man. I appreciate you sharing that, Vert. I'm gonna definitely check it out, though. I'm definitely check that out. I've tried it and it didn't go too well for me. But you know what? Maybe now with these upgrades, man, these software updates, maybe we could, we can do them things, And everybody has all our superpowers, they come online at different times. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I always share when it comes to this thing this so-called thing we call consciousness, right? Like I never bash people or look down on or try to, act like being better than somebody else because of where they're at in their spiritual journey. Because you might have had a little more premature exposure, to consciousness or to spirituality or to, wisdom, that don't make you better than somebody who didn't. That's not, Let's not make you feel like you're something special, because, that's not the case. Just because, for real, like it could be somebody who might have so-called quote unquote woke up after you that can run laps around you because they just that more tapped in and more, of an elevated being than you. And that don't mean that they're better, but at the same time, it does mean that they're more elevated. So it's like, we got to be very conscientious of how we look at people, how we deal with people, and not allow ourselves to get this uppity, like bourgeoisie mentality because we have, access to information, or we've gotten ceremonies where we have, some milestones checked off the checklist. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the collective, family. That's where the power is. The power is in the united. We stand, divided, we fall. Us all working together collectively. That's where the true power is. That's where the true Ashe magnifies. That's where it really takes on a whole life and a whole force of its own is when it's collective. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, but a lot of people are waking up. You know, a lot of people are, you know, coming into the traditional spiritual traditions. A lot. So let me see. Moon Stress 444 said, these moments I feel fever, like the sun touches me, re-energizes me, and I start seeing black floating. So yeah, that's kind of like what I had too, Moon Stress 444. Like literally, like it was weird because they were real small, like really, really small, like little, you know, orbs, like circular little orbs. And it happened for some minutes too. And it was weird because, like I said, I had never really experienced that ever before. But I have, you know, I don't know if I'm the only one on here who's played football, but fellas, if y'all played football, especially if you might have played in a hot environment like down here, oh my God, it was crazy. Boy, playing with them pads on, the helmet and all that in this heat, it was crazy. But I do remember times like that happening. And most of the time for me personally, when I would see those little like DNA strands or whatever, I don't really know quite sure how to describe it, what to call it. But when I would see it, for me personally, it only usually would happen after a hard collision. You know what I'm saying? After either getting hit hard or hitting somebody hard, and then like hitting the ground. Then when I would get up, I remember times when I would see them little, whatever those things are. So, you know, I don't know if I'm the only one who's experienced things like that or not, but I definitely know whatever happened last week, that wasn't that. It was totally different. It wasn't, they weren't connected. Like the one that used to happen when I played football was connected. Kind of like, I wish I had something thinner, but kind of like the best way for me to describe it, it would be about half the size of this, and it would be in the shape like this. And then it would be like little dots that would be kind of like almost like when you get ice cream with sprinkles on it. It was like little circular dots that would be sprinkled on the little. It looked just like almost like a DNA strand. Like that's the best way for me to describe it. But like I said, the thing that happened last week, that wasn't that, man. So I'm not sure exactly what that was. But as far as moon stress, yeah, you're not the only one, moon stress. That definitely happened to me the other day last week, actually. Phoenix is Rising. Which website was it that you were looking for, family? So that way I can make sure I could get in the comments for you. I know we talked about a few different things. I know I talked about the books, and then we had the sister. I'm not sure where her comment is, but the sister that had the trilogy that she just wrote. So if you can, just please share with me which website so I can see if I'll get it in there for you. Once again, family, you're just coming on. I do have the 7 Major Orisha Study Guide I'm giving away to the tribe for free, 4th of July weekend. You know, for anybody who wants to grab it, I shared it earlier in the show. I'll probably share it one more time before we get up out of here. Okay, you got it, Jay. That's what's up. Appreciate you for downloading it. Absolutely, man. Let me know what you think about it. You know, and matter of fact, I think I'm gonna probably open up the Patreon too. Just flood that thing out, you know, with free memberships, you know, just to give back and to also to share love and show love, man, for the tribe, for the support. I really wanted to do something like this for the channel's birthday in April, but there was just so much stuff going on. It came upon me so fast I didn't get the chance to prepare properly. So I'm kind of celebrating a little bit late. So we're gonna kind of celebrate the Ashe channel tribe and community birthday a little late this year. We're gonna celebrate in July. Matter of fact, we're really gonna celebrate it in August. I'm working on doing some things in August too. So we're gonna celebrate this thing collectively, family. Ifanina said the planet is heating up and getting rid of old parents. Yeah, man. She's doing a cleanse. She's doing a cleanse, but she's getting them things up out of here. Getting them all the way up out of here. Yes, sir. Big facts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me see. All right. So it won't let you share the video, V-Locks? What the hell? But you know what, man? I'm telling you, it's a lot going on with this technology. So, you know, I'll hopefully after the show is over with, if you go to the channel and under the live stream icon at the homepage of the channel and hit live and then go down, it should be the first one there. And then maybe try to share, you know, under the video. Hopefully it'll help share it because it's a lot going on, man. I'm telling you, like I've been dealing with this doggone technology acting a fool for a minute now, like for real. And it's not even just like the phone. I mean, the laptop either. It's the laptop. It's my phone. It's, you know what I'm saying, my microphone, my TV. Like it's been crazy, man. Like for real, for real. I got clients that have literally one-on-one Zoom consultations or you know, calls where the platform is acting a fool. They can't hear me. I can't hear them. They can't see me. It's kicking them in, kicking them. It's been nuts. So it's like, it's something that like I said, I feel like some of it could be because of the so-called retrograde or whatever, but I feel like some of it's also past interference on the play. Y'all know what that is or what that means. So, and then also I'm seeing people are being unsubscribed from the channel. I'm seeing people are being kicked out of the private community. So family, if you have subscribed to the channel, please double check and make sure that you are still subscribed. And if you're not, please subscribe again, because for some odd reason, people are being unsubscribed from the channel. So, and that's why I think a lot of people aren't getting the alerts when we post the lives, or we post the the post for whatever we got going on. So I definitely would appreciate if y'all could just check and see if you are still subscribed. And if you're not, please hit the subscribe again. So that way, you can get the alerts, and then turn on the notifications too, so you can get the alerts and you'll know when we're getting this thing cracking. At the Awakening 0228. Yes, I would definitely take you up on that. I could probably get with you either in the Patreon, or matter of fact, I'll send you my email address real quick to take advantage of that help, because I ain't turning down no assistance, man. That's facts. Let me see. All right, so I just put the email in there. Well, it ain't letting me paste again, but once I could paste it, okay, it's in there now. And then also, you should be able to message me in the Patreon too, but I definitely put the email in there. So I appreciate you. Let me see. Ifanina said the retrograde is grading early. Yeah, it's grading early, and it's grading too. It's grading big time. It is grading heavy. Listen, yeah, Finished Rose is funny. Look, I wasn't gonna say anything, but that's the one. Look, I'm a big I ain't gonna front. I guess being a hustler or entrepreneur is so deeply embedded in me. I can say everything is business, but I do think heavily about business. So that's why I ain't gonna front. Like, I always have my cup, because when I don't, if I got a bottle, I don't think I got one in here. But if I'm drinking water and I just got the water bottle, I'm not gonna put that logo on there. I ain't put that look. I'm like, y'all ain't giving me no sponsorship checks. Y'all ain't, you know what I'm saying? You ain't running nothing. I can't do it. So look, if I'm gonna rock a brand, I'm gonna rock my little brand. So I keep my Omi Tutu, my water in the Ashe mug, man, because I don't know. That's just the hustler in me. And today, because I knew it was gonna be a hot show, but I brought the whole I bought a whole refill with me today, but like, just in case if it get real hot, but I got enough to hold me down for the whole show. I ain't got to run out and run to the refrigerator real quick and get some more. So, but yeah, I say all that to say, I do want to plug that cleanse, because you probably got the same one that I'm using, and it took me probably like a month or two before I actually pulled the trigger and jumped on it, because I like to do my research, especially when it comes to stuff that I'm putting in my body, or things that I'm dealing with in regards to having to do with my body. I like to research on it just to see, make sure I'm doing the right thing, or doing it right, or getting making the right investment, spending the right money on the right product or whatever. So yeah, but if you got the same one I got, it's the real deal, and I definitely already feel the effects. You know what I mean? I'm not even a week in yet. I think Sunday will be my week. I hit the week milestone, but literally the first day that I took it, I felt it. Like, I felt it as it went into my body. And it's funny, because I don't know if your experience was the same as mine, if we're talking about the same product, but I was trying to explain to somebody like how it felt when I first took the first dose, right? And so for me, it's kind of like, when you fall or you get cut somehow, and then you take the peroxide and you pour it, on the wound, and then you see like how the white, fizz kind of fizzes up, suds up or bubbles up or whatever. Man, when I took that stuff, I felt like that's what it was doing inside my body. I felt like it was like, like fizzing, you know what I'm saying? Like bubbling up and like just cleansing and, getting ish up out of there, man. Like, I felt it. It was nuts, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, that's why my experience was. So hell, I'm gonna reach out to them and see, man, if they maybe want to, be a brand ambassador, or a sponsor of the channel or something like that. 'Cause I definitely, from what I see in just less than a week, it's definitely something that I would support and promote, because I could definitely see the results of it already. And I'm not even a week in, and most of the reviews that I read on that particular one, the people for the most part said it took them like 2 to 4 weeks before they really started experiencing like the premium results from it. But for me, man, day one, I started feeling it like for real. So I'm like, yo, I could rock with this for sure. Yeah, for sure, Vert. Brother Roderick, I just completed a 21-day fast combined with 14-day watermelon cleanse, was fatigued during and after routines managed to present during the weekly. I know that's right. That's what's up, man, to be present. Yeah, man, that's what's up. Yeah, them cleanses, we need them because like I said, everything's in alignment, man. It's all divine alignment. It's magnetism. I think Bert was just saying that. It's all magnetism. So we're being attracted to the things that we should be, and then we're actually pushing away and clearing out the things that we shouldn't be. And that goes back to what the planet and what Mama Earth is doing as well. Yeah. Not correct, not superpower correct. I got you. Listen, you and me both, man. I don't feel bad, bro. I keep the contacts in. I keep them in pretty much almost every day. Lady Walker, what's good with you? We missed you in the community. You probably was at work when we did them calls. But yeah, we got some dope ones in the Patreon waiting for you. Matter of fact, the last two, I don't know if you were on the ones with Unam. I hadn't uploaded those yet, but I'll definitely get them in there this weekend, family, because I was telling the tribe earlier when we had one today too. We did one on Ori today, Lady Walker. So that one will be in there. I'm gonna do my best to get them all in there by Sunday, because I had to prepare for this show tonight, and then I want to run it back again tomorrow night, and then I definitely, and then I plan on launching the Sacred Journey membership as well for the Orisha Ifa training program. So I got a lot of work to do to wrap those up, but I'm gonna definitely get those private community calls uploaded into the Patreon family. Let's see. It's going on to my podcasters in a lot of categories. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know I'm not alone. I appreciate you sharing that though, at Pasandetta. I hope I said that right. Yeah. But you know what's crazy? And this is real. It is happening to a lot of podcasters in a lot of different categories and niches. But the one thing that I'm gonna say, which is forget my vocabulary, but it's disgusting. Is I only see it with melanated content creators. Them the only ones that I see it happening to. I only see it happening to us because I follow a lot of different channels, and I actually track and research, a lot of different channels in the data. And I've been seeing it happen too. It ain't just start happening. I've seen it happen. It started about a year or so ago, but it's getting worse. But I do notice that it seems like the melanated content creators who are dealing with these types of atrocities. Go figure. But that's why some of the things that are happening. I mean, I don't wish nothing on nobody, but I'm just saying reciprocity. And it comes back 7 to 10 times fold through the laws of Maat. So it is what it is. And I feel like y'all can read in between, on top, and underneath the lines of where I'm going and what I'm saying with that. But it is what it is, man. So it ain't gonna stop no thing, man. Like, we're gonna continue to grind, continue to do what we do, continue to do this work because it's about the collective. So we're gonna make it happen by any and all means necessary. What's good with you at Champion State of Mind? The magnetism feelings make you yeah. Yes, sir. That's facts, family. Big facts. Let me see. Everybody said they're doing alkaline. It was 222. Yeah, it was 222, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna do a show on the numbers and the synchronicities. As a matter of fact, for those who the ones, I know several people bought the Ancestral How to Honor Your Ancestors Daily ebook that it's on the website too. But I get into that in that ebook, the How to Honor Your Ancestors Daily ebook. And if I'm not mistaken, I think hopefully I put that in the Patreon and private community for y'all. If I didn't, I'll put that one in there for y'all too. But yeah, that's a way that the ancestors communicate with us. Like, they literally communicate, with those types of signs and synchronicities. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up the How to Honor Your Ancestors ebook and just share that with y'all, tribe, because that's another thing that we should be alert or pay attention to whenever it happens, because that's another divine alignment with spirit communicating with us. And move a couple of these take a couple of these out of here so I can have space to get that one in here. And get that 1 minute, family. I'm trying to pull in another ebook. Share something with y'all real quick. Okay, boom. Got it. All right. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this one, it's on the AfricanSpiritualExperience.com website, but it's a quick little introductory ebook on how to honor the ancestors. But in it, I know there's a part that I spoke about that, like pretty much, and what this is about, family, for those who haven't read it or seen it. It's really just teaching how to set up the ancestral shrines and altars, and then what to expect when we set them up. So as you can see, like right here, I can't tell which page this is on in the ebook, but we're speaking about common ways that our ancestors communicate with us. And so one of the most common ways that they do it is through dreams. You know, whenever we have dreams, they'll come to us and communicate with us and give us messages. They give us aha moments. They give us clarity. They give us insight. They give us they give us the results of what we're looking for sometimes. So, there's a lot of different things that they'll do in the in the sleep realm, whenever we're asleep, especially if we're in that deep state of sleep. I think it's, I can't remember all the states by heart, but I don't know if it's theta. For those who are into the wavelengths of, the patterns of energy and like the beta, theta, gamma, all the different wavelengths and all that, as far as our state of how our energy is moving. Please share that with me. Which one is the one when we get into that deep state, deep sleep, when we get into the state where we can have the lucid dreams and all that. But a lot of times, the ancestors will visit us then. And so, dreams is definitely a major way that we get communication from the ancestors. They deliver messages to us, warnings, insights. They can reveal things that we might have been stuck on, or that things that we needed to get clarity or to get the answer to, they can give to us right there in the dreams. And of course, the synchronicities, the numbers, like a lot of us on the channel have been seeing these. I know the 222 was very popular over the last couple of weeks. So much so, like I said, I got to do a whole show and presentation on it. But 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. Songs can come on at a certain time that you had a connection with an ancestor with. That's a way of them showing you that, you know what I mean? Like they there with you still, or they want, to communicate with you and give you some sort of, feeling of confirmation, you know what I mean? That they're there to communicate with you. Names, seeing their names or seeing a name that, could be connected or tied to them. Phrases that they used to say or laughed at, or, that resonated with them. It's a lot of different ways that it can happen. Strong gut feelings, a sudden sense of knowingness, a sudden sense of, awareness, or a sudden sense of clarity when you were cloudy and stuck. You know what I mean? Like all those different things are different ways that the ancestors, communicate with us and to give us signs and to give us, alignment with the ancestral realm. Strong gut feelings, intuition, logical explanations without, any explanation. Different animals, butterflies, birds. I'm constantly seeing different animals, birds, mostly birds. I know a lot of that has to do with the mothers, but one of the other ones that I love seeing, is I'm actually kind of shocked because me and Pops went and chopped it up at the beach for Father's Day. And I was hoping to see some dolphins because, like, the last several times I either was by the water or was even driving by the water, I've been blessed to see dolphins. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I was looking for them that day. I didn't see them. If they did show up, I probably was either in the water not looking in the right direction or just didn't, pay attention to them. But that's another powerful way. And then also like fragrances. I remember that happened to me one day. I think this was like a year and a half ago. And it was amazing because I remember I was actually dealing with a tough time then, going through some life and moments. Excuse me. And then I think I had just got home from the hospital. I had a family member, I had a loved one who was going through some health challenges. And I was like up overnight, literally, I think, I don't know, maybe 26, 30 hours straight. Damn near fell asleep at the wheel on the way home, man. It was crazy. But I say all that to say, I had a little bit of work to do. I think I don't know if I was preparing for a podcast, but I had something I had to do on a computer before I actually was able to lay down. And I remember right as I sat at the doggone on the sofa, I had my little tray table up on my computer doing whatever I was doing. I remember a fragrance came by. And when the fragrance came by, it was nuts because as it came by, I remember like, yo, that's an ancestor here. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's here visiting me. And I think hopefully there's somebody on the call that was in the private community, because we had a Patreon call not too long after that. And the most amazing thing happened, man. Like right after the fragrance came by, like by my nose, I remember one of the elders who's a part of the Patreon community. He's actually an elder in my real life community here in Florida. And I remember he called me and he was like, hey man, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. Bye-bye. Appreciate it. But it was just nuts because he was like, yeah, I just want to make sure, call and check on you. Like the ancestors told me to call and check on you. And it blew my mind, family. Like I was so blown, like it was crazy because I'm just like, yo, the odds of him calling me, like literally, and I'm talking about it had to be within, it couldn't have been 2 minutes. I'm just gonna say it was about 120 seconds to close to 2 minutes, just for the sake of transparency and authenticity. But in all actuality, I really wholeheartedly feel like it was probably less than a minute after the fragrance came across my nose, and then he called me, checking on me, like, yo, you all right? I just want to double check. The ancestors, kind of told me to holler at you, check on it, whatever. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I didn't say nothing to him at the time because, like I said, I was dealing with a lot and I was running on fumes, as far as rest. But it just was amazing to me that he had the wherewithal to clearly, for him to receive the message from the ancestors, to call, holler at me and check up on me by way of the ancestors, which was dope. So, that's how powerful it is, family. You know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to share that in the book, in the little ebook, to let y'all know, like, these are the things to look out for. These are the things to pay attention to, because those are, which might seem like little things, they might seem like something that's minor, minute, or minuscule. It's actually something that could be very significant, very, tangible and very powerful, because that's how spirit can communicate with us in the physical realm. So, through those different types of signs. So, yeah, man, that's on the website too, family. If y'all want to grab your How to Honor the Ancestors daily ebook for those who, are at the beginning of the journey or just want to tap in, on another level with the ancestors and, tap in with spirit. It's there for you. And I think for the most part, I caught most of the comments. Let me see. What was that? Resonance 2040 says, as a chosen one, you live in a higher dimension of awareness. Your journey is about seeing beyond the appearances and living with a deeper sense of purpose and consciousness. Facts, big facts. Resonance 2040, that's big facts. Yeah. And, I feel like those who, will fall into that category, I feel like, we have a duty to humanity, to share, the gifts, to share the enlightenment, to share the abilities and the gifts that we have to be able to pay it forward to help other people. Kind of like Sankofa. You know what I'm saying? Like once we make it, to a certain level, those who are moving with a sense of like, humility, a sense of being about the collective, not making it all about me, all about, me, I, like trying to, outshine everybody and all that foolishness. I feel like it's kind of our duty, if you make it to a certain level in regards to life, to, to reach back, and grab some other folks and bring them with you. You know what I'm saying? Like bring other, family, friends, people who are in divine alignment, bring the collective with you. You can't bring everybody because everybody don't want to come. And everybody don't want you to win. Everybody ain't going to be on your team and really rock with you like that. But you should be able to feel and sense and know those, those types of energy, especially now, because the way things are going, if somebody's not in alignment with you, you're going to see it. And things like random crazy things that happen to literally give you whatever you needed to get you up out of there, get you away from them, i.e. their phone number might be deleted mysteriously out of your phone, or they might send a text to you talking about you that they meant to send to somebody else, and then you get the text and you see like, oh damn, motherfucker, that's how you feel. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that really be happening, family. And I hope there's somebody out here who's experienced something like that before, because I know I have multiple times. And that right there to me is the ancestors. They're like, oh, okay, that's how you moving, that's how you rocking. Let me go ahead and show him what you're doing, so that way he know to cut you off. With that song, ain't nothing to cut that trick off, like cut them off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, out of here, yeah, and come up out of there. Like, so it's a real thing, man, for real. Don't worry about it, Miss Dunn. Just let me know when you do get it. You can email me too, or just we can come on and share it on the next stream. Because we definitely, like I said, we're not with the gatekeeping and trying to hold other people down or back around here. Like, I'm about winning, and I want to see other people win too. So I'm gonna share my email address. So if you want to send the link, I could share it with the tribe. Like I said, I'm interested in it myself. So it sounds dope. Like a dope piece of work. Yeah, that's real. Yeah. So, but yeah, family, let me go ahead. I think I didn't finish the presentation, so I'm gonna run through that real quick before we got. Cause we've been on here, 2 hours already. Sheesh. Let me see. Brother Emperor True said, did everyone catch that regarding the volcano eruptions? 42 times, restoration, restructure, rejuvenation. This is the great purge, great awakening, great reset. Hence the 42 laws of Maat in effect. That's fact. I appreciate you reiterating that, bro. For real, for real. Like, I really, really appreciate you doing that, because like I said, the first time I realized it, like when I actually did the first video, like that was in fact, it was one of my first live streams I did by myself for the first time in a long time, back in February when I did that one. But I just recall when I did it and I shared it, I didn't even realize it when I shared it on the screen. I don't think I realized it until like the next day or two after. And I want to say it was I almost think it was on another show when I brought it up. And then that's when it clicked for me, like, oh, that's when the 42 and the 13 resonated. So I definitely appreciate you reiterating that, because I feel like that is a very powerful, significant, timestamp. It's a very significant receipt as to us being aware of and being, in divine alignment with what is taking place on the planet. And, like, we got receipts for that. So everybody who was rocking with me back then, who's been a part of, the tribe, and, who've been riding heavy and been loyal, rocking out with me, vibing out with me, tribing out with me, like, yeah, we definitely, we've been on it for a minute, family, for sure. For sure. I need to write the book that I've been researching, building the self-esteem of us through true history using lines. Yes, do that. Do it, family. And I was sharing this. I don't know if she's on here now. I hope she is. But one of our tribe members, I was sharing what I'm about to share with y'all in the private community, because there's a lot of people that we have in the tribe that have some very powerful gifts. And it's like, I think sometimes we can get in our own way from taking that leap, and for, giving it a go and taking that leap of faith and going all in, or even just trying or starting. But I'm gonna tell you, like, do it, family, because like for me, I remember it was a sister who, like, I ain't gonna say she begged me, but she hounded me about writing a book. And this was like in 2016, I want to say 2016, 2017. She hounded me about writing a book. I'm talking about, like, it was crazy, because at the time she was in the space that I'm now in, with doing consulting, coaching and things of that nature. But back then I wasn't in it. And I was going through a tough time in life then, as a matter of fact. I remember, like, us crossing paths, and hold on one second. I remember us crossing paths and just talking, having deep conversations, kind of like this one we're having now. And long story short, she was like, you should write a book. I'm like, I ain't writing no damn book. She's like, no, for real, you should write a book. I ain't writing no book. So we went back and forth like that several times for weeks, months. And I just didn't see it. Like, at the time, I didn't see what I would write about that would really make sense, or that people would want to, hear or whatever. But the way she broke it down to me, she was like, the things that you lived through, the times that you've been through, the rough times and things that, adversities and trials and tribulations that you were able to bounce back from, that can help a lot of people. A lot of people can benefit from that, because a lot of people go through struggles and challenges and, tough times or whatever. So she was like, and the way that you were able to go through it and still keep the same mentality, or, not look at life like, woe is me, whining and crying and all that, like that whole perspective, she was like, a lot of people can benefit from it. So long story short, I never really took it from her to try it, but I will say, I remember listening to a Les Brown YouTube video, like a personal development video. And he said, sometimes in life, we have to go off of the belief of others, that others have in us, even if we don't see the potential, or if we don't have the belief or confidence within ourselves, because that could be the catalyst, or that could be the nucleus that can give you the spark that can create a supernatural transformation within your life. And I won't say he said it like that, but it was similar to that. So I don't want to misquote the man's words. But all I'll say is that whatever way he said it, when he said it, it resonated with me, because at that point it did. And not that I didn't take what she was saying serious, but I just think I had to grow a little bit more. I had to evolve a little bit more, and life had to life a little bit more for it to click for me at that particular time. But when it clicked. And then that was the beginning of my journey, you know what I mean? Like to lead up to what, 10, 11 years into, you know, doing that type of work before coming here, you know, to do this work here. So I say all that to say, yes, write that book. Even so, if you need help writing it, let me know. Like I'll help you. I've written, well, not counting the ebooks, I've written 3 books that I actually published. I don't know how many ebooks I wrote, but I definitely got 3 books that I self-published. And you know, I coach people with content creation and with writing, you know, all those types of things. So, and that's going to be part of what we'll be bringing too. Like we got the spiritual aspect, but we also have the business aspect that's going to be coming as far as Ashe. As a matter of fact, I'll just share. We got a Ashe Creator Lab coming. So for content creators who are interested in podcasting, writing books, or you know, anything that has to do with content creation and marketing, holla at me, man. Definitely can put you in the game, man, with some strategies, systems, and processes to really take things to the next level. Let me see. Ms. Dunn said, when the solar flare started, my dreams became more lucid. From those dreams, I started writing. I couldn't shake them until I wrote. Yeah. No, that's facts. Like, it's so dope that you say that, because my children's book, I don't have none in here with me in this room, but I wrote a children's book, Star Seeds, Children of the Ancients. And that book literally came to me like that. Literally. It came to me one night, one download. And this was way before all this technology and all that. So I literally had to like do it old school, pen to pad. You know what I'm saying? But I literally wrote that entire book's manuscript in one night, one sitting. And I'm telling you, it happened just like that. It was a direct, lucid download that I could not take action with it. And I'm gonna tell you how life be working, and like how, and this is why I'm saying this to Pasandetta, to listen, I'm gonna bring you back up because you took the words out of my mouth. So this is why I'm saying that to you, is because by me listening to the sister and the messages from Les Brown, right? The first book I wrote was actually Star Seeds, but it wasn't the first book I published because I didn't know how to publish a book. You know what I'm saying? Like at the time when wow, this is crazy. I'm pasting it and it's not going in, but shit is nuts. My email's in there, family. Trying to put in there again. But if you scroll up on the comments, you'll see it. It's AfricanSpirituality3@gmail.com. Because I'm trying to paste it in here, but the technology is not letting me, which is like the 4th time. But anyway, yeah, that's what happened. Like I wrote the children's book Star Seeds, and I had it on pen and paper. I didn't know how to publish a book, put everything together, and none of that. But I was blessed that one of my cousins had wrote like 6, 7 books at the time. So she kind of guided me through the process of putting an actual book together. And so from there, the very first book I wrote was a self-help book called Tips, Taking Initiative, Producing Success, Transforming Adversity into Prosperity. That was my first book. But that book, I still have to say, opened so many doors for me. Like, it's not even funny. That book opened up the opportunity for me to do public speaking, for me to be a keynote speaker, for me to travel around the country, you know, doing speaking engagements, for me to be a keynote speaker at the Toastmasters International Conference, man, which was a huge accomplishment for me, especially being a young brother, you know what I'm saying? I had locks back then, you know what I'm saying? All that. So, of course, I was going through the same thing that I'm dealing with as a content creator with some of these platforms, which is redlining and discrimination, all that foolishness. But that didn't stop me. And, you know, I kept going through. But I say that book can really not only benefit you, but it's going to benefit all the people who read it too. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win. You know, so that's how I even look at the channel. Like, I benefit just as much being out here, you know, as y'all do, especially when I have guests on, because I'm learning from them just like, you know, like the tribe is. And hell, I'm learning from y'all in the comments. Y'all be dropping jewels that, you know, teaching me things that I be learning about. So that's why I said it's a reciprocity thing, man. And the more we give, the more I feel like we get back, especially when we're doing it with pure intentions. But I say all that to say, Professor Kaba, he was I feel like the spark behind that book, Starseed, because a lot of the material that's in it, I learned from him. But what makes it even more magical and phenomenal is that the fact that I had that book and it wasn't even written, it was I had the flyer, the promo flyer for it, and he was down. He had an event in Miami, and I drove down to Miami. And long story short, I was able to get access to him, where he invited me back to his hotel after the event, and I interviewed him about the book. And that was literally my very first time interviewing him, and the rest is history. And that was like back in 17, I think, like almost 10 years ago, man. We've been rocking ever since then. So it's like, do the work, because that goes back to what I don't know if you was on earlier when I was saying the universe is going to create the way. It's going to move things out of the way and move you into the way of opportunity, or the way of, receiving, blessings, and receiving array and receiving abundance and prosperity, because you did your part. So it's almost like for those who lift weights, I ain't getting on the bench trying to throw up 305 by myself, but you know what I mean? If I got somebody spotting me, I got more confidence to do it then, so it's like, that's how I feel like anything in life, comes. If we try, the universe will be there to give us that spot, that extra assistance in the process. All right, I'm gonna try it again, family. With the email. Oh shoot! Damn it! Deleted it. Okay, I'm gonna try to copy and paste the email again, y'all. Okay. All right, I got it that time. So that's for really everybody if you need it. But Apis pasting data, you can holler at me via the email. I just sent it, and then yeah, you can get with me there. Email with the link. Oh yeah, I got you, Lady Walker. Let me pull it up real quick for you. Now real quick, Lady Walker, did you want the paperback or did you want the ebook? Because I don't believe I have the paperbacks on the website, but I do have a few more here at the house in stock. I gotta order some more of those actually, or I had to set it up with the drop ship so they can ship them out directly where I ain't gotta worry about it. But please let me know which format you want it, Star Season, Lady Walker, and I definitely get it to you either way. The virtual one, I can get it to you. You can get it now, direct download, and then the paperback, I could get it to you too. I just would have to go to the post office and ship it out. I probably had to do it Monday. I think they might be closed tomorrow, but I'll still put the link in there just in case for Star Seeds. But yeah, write that book, man. Start that podcast. Like anything that y'all got going on creatively that you want to do it. Like for real, because life is short, and you never know who you could make an impact on. You might change somebody's life just from creating something that you had, the download to get, because it came from a higher place anyway. To me, that's my perspective. Like it's a gift from the creator, or from the from the ancestors. So hell, Ashe is a gift from the ancestors. The ancestors, I've said this I don't know how many times, but they're the ones who came to me for that for this podcast, for this platform. Like, and I had to be obedient. So that's the Starseeds link, Lady Walker. Okay, so I'll get with you. If you can holler at me via email and just send me the information so I can ship it to you, and I'll definitely ship it to you via the paperback for sure. Let me see. REM sleep, between realms, remember the messages if that's what they need you to pay attention. Yes, that's facts. Yeah, REM sleep. I've had deep sleeps and deep dreams, and sometimes I remember them, sometimes I don't. But I know there's a lot of them that I do be remembering, but then sometimes I don't, and it be pissing me off too, because some of them be good ones too. Maybe some good dreams, man. I'd be mad. I can't remember the next day. I'd be hot. But like, man. But such is life. Let me see. Miss Dunn says, I'm a registered nurse. I literally nosedived into becoming an independent author because, well, but listen, that's divine though. That's the real state. Like for real, the dream world is the real world. Like that's the infinite, experience right there. Like what we're doing right now, this is the fake world. Like this is like the temporary one. We're just here for a season, a few seasons or whatever. Like whatever, we came in here on a date. I came in here in 80, and then I'm in the dash right now, and then eventually, got to check out and go back to the ancestral realm in which I came. But damn it, I'm gonna do my best to make the best out of and really do some things with this little dash though, man, for real. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's a gift, that comes from, whether it's you personally, your Ori, from your ancestors, from the creator, from the guides, like whoever, but it's definitely meant for it to be a benefit to all of humanity. You know what I mean? Especially those who are in alignment to receive whatever the messages that you write. So yeah, man, do it. You know, like I said, I had no idea I'd be an author, writing no books or doing any of this. As a matter of fact, I thought I was gonna be in the league playing ball. Is what if I'd have made the right decisions as a youth, I probably would have been. But such is life, man. We live and we learn. But yeah, no problem. You're welcome, Lady Walker. Stardust, Orisa G. So glad for the perseverance. Came through, keep cracking codes. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, family. Already. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I appreciate you for sure. Because it's bigger than me, family. Like, I know that. I know for a fact it's bigger than me. Always has been, always will be. And I don't take myself too serious. I am serious, but I don't take myself too serious. And y'all don't know the crazy side of me. It's a lot going on in this head, boy. I'm telling you, like it's a lot going on in this head. And I couldn't help but to be the way I am. Because both my parents ain't got them all. They different. And I tell them respectfully to their face because they know they're different. I got some different parents. They funny and they crazy as hell, but they'll knock some things over too. But they funny and they're good people. They're great people. But I am their child, boy, through and through, through and through, all the way. So it's like, I love what I do. I love y'all and I love doing this too. So, and shout out to my man Don Burt. I appreciate you, family. Appreciate the super chat, man. Definitely appreciate you, bro. For real. But yeah, family, let me go ahead and knock out this last little bit of this presentation. I done got all deep into the comments, man, and shoot, we done mess around and I still got some more presentation to give. So yeah, I think we left off on the heat and the marine anomalies. But yeah, the Aganju code, man. Yeah, it is that Leo energy, boy. They both Leos too, Lady Walker. Both of them. For real. And one of my grandmama's boys. I'm a heavy Lions baby, boy. It Lions all through and through with me. All the way. The Leos ain't no joke, boy. And it's amazing because I get along great with Leos too. I do. So I guess it's meant to be. And what's even more crazy, I don't know how many of y'all saw this, but we literally just hit. I tried to screenshot it, but it didn't work out. But we hit 222 on the ticker for the live. So I mean, it was on the live for 2 hours and 22 minutes, and then we had 111 people on the stream when it hit. I tried to screenshot it, but I don't think I got it. But it's all good. I know that it happened. But anyway, yeah, back to the Aganju code. And Lady Walker, you was on that call Monday when we went through the Patreon presentation, but this one was a little different because I dove a little further into it. But I did Lady Walker create a ebook out of it. I think DJ Kiko was the one that said he would like that, so I put that in the platforms tomorrow. But yeah, so back to the presentation, the Aganju code, 4 phases of the volcano, 5 laws for navigating the natural upheaval, of nature. Volcanoes, mountains, earth interiors, all are tied to hidden wealth and civilization, all tied to the great, mighty, powerful, ancient Orisha known as Aganju. The 4 phases of Aganju and the volcanoes is dormancy. Number 1, the preparation of hidden work, internal pressure. Number 2, rumbling, the warning signs of necessary tension and pressure rising. Number 3, the eruption, transformation, release, purification. Number 4, renewal, new land, new fertility, new growth, new abundance. The 5 laws from the nature perspective. Number 1, the mountain does not apologize for the eruption, and neither does the planet Earth and those who are in divine alignment with the elevated frequencies of going from the 3rd dimension, the Piscean age, to the 5th dimension, the Aquarian age. We don't apologize for the eruption at all. Number 2, the wealth is always below the surface. Number 3, build slowly. Civilizations are not created overnight. Number 4, stand firm. Matter of fact, let me go back to 3. Build slowly. Civilizations are not created overnight. Neither is transformation, family. We can't transform overnight. But if we do the work and we put the work in and we do it diligently and we do it consistently and we do it with good intentions, we will have the transformation. And I'll be damned if it ain't worth every drop of the blood, sweat, tear, equity that we put into it for that transformation. I'm proof of it, and I've learned from a whole lot more people who I know are proof of it too. So transformation is definitely a powerful, powerful, powerful manifestation. So I definitely encourage everyone to work on your transformation, family, because we definitely have it in us to do. So let's do it collectively as a tribe. But in number 4, stand firm, move slowly, become immovable. Number 5, every eruption creates new land. So I think that's the last page of the presentation. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, man, I hope y'all appreciated the content tonight, family. Have you heard of Dr. Marie Charles? Nah, I haven't. Data, but if you could, enlighten me, let me know. Is that you? Are you Dr. Marie Charles? And if not, either way, let me know. I'm interested in learning. Like, look, I love to learn, and I'm a proud self-proclaimed nerd, man. I love to learn. I love to study. I love to read. I love to listen. To people who can teach me, people who can show me new things, and all that. And it's been a running joke all week in the private community about, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I don't never want to be the smartest one in the room ever, because if I am, I don't got nowhere to grow, and I always want to grow. So I don't ever want to be the smartest one in the room. So I don't care if I'm in the room with preschoolers. Some of them be teaching me things too, like straight up. I've crossed paths with some children that literally blew my mind from like elementary school all the way to high school. I've spoken with and had experiences with children in a classroom setting where I was astounded by, just the level of intelligence or the level of maturity or just being so far advanced, for where they are with their age. So it's like, yeah, never want to be the smartest one in the room. But yeah, if you could, she ran. Okay, I'm gonna have to look her up. Data. I appreciate that. I'm definitely have to check her out for sure. But yeah, family, I definitely appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get about this thing. I can't believe it's been 2.5 hours already. I really can't believe it went by that fast. But we definitely had a dope show. I appreciate everybody who came through, man, and showed up and showed out in the comments as y'all always do. Now that we stand about it, we fall. I am because we are, I am. And I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, family. I definitely, as long as I get this presentation for tomorrow finished and get it done right, I'll be back with it. If not, I'll probably do the numbers, the synchronicity numbers, but the extraterrestrial one, I'm definitely looking forward to, because that's gonna be a dope one. I got some ish for y'all, but I got some ish that I can't wait to share with y'all, for real, for real. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Jay. Bert, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate all y'all, man. I definitely do, family. I love all y'all. Appreciate all y'all. I'm looking forward to family. We out. I'll post the links as soon as I get everything set up. And yeah, so we out, family. Peace.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe nígbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your